everyone. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. Everyone's doing swell. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Rando Monday. Home here at Retro Gaming Live Television for all your retro gaming needs and entertainment. Today we're bringing to you live Random Monday, another fun, special, very special event. We're going to go ahead and jump in the chat room here before I keep saying anything. Let me see.
Oh, it's kind of whack.
Yeah, hi guys. Welcome to Random Monday. Got some guests with us today. You might know them. They've been around a while. Say hi, guys.
Oh, shit.
That was Kong.
And that was Ant doing the accent,
was
not
Ant.
me, though.
Uh-oh.
What's up, Weapon? What's up, RGL?
Another Random Monday. Another day for wild entertainment, for things placed in places you don't expect to see them. Just like my car keys. And pretty much everything else I own when I look for it and I can't find it. But anyways, this week we're doing English. Super Mario RPG, Legend of the Seven Stars. We're doing the Randomizer. You guys know it. You guys love it. A lot of you have seen it before. A lot of you have tried it before. And the reason today I wanted to specifically ask Anthole and Concakes to join me is because I know very, very, very little about Super Mario RPG because I've never actually played it.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Well, you can fix that in November.
That's
on November 17th.
And that's the plan. I actually was talking with Ant just a few moments ago. I think I want to try maybe to do a playthrough of it here fairly soon before that happens. Yeah. Mostly because I know the Super Mario RPG is a lot of fun. The Randomizer is a lot of fun. So I wanted to try to at least, play the game once before I give it a shot. But figure since y'all guys love it, y'all guys been asked for it. The chat has been asked for it. You guys are like, yeah, we'll do it. So here we are. So hope everybody's ready for a fun-filled evening of shenanigans. Let me go ahead and looks like chat. We're getting people ready here. Time to start after the name. Yep. Okay, everybody's getting ready.
I got sunburned a little bit.
I gotta reset. I accidentally hit start on my character, which means I probably gotta remake my character.
Anthole's cheated and will be, what's the word for that?
Assassinated live on stream.
Wasn't going to go that far.
I think we're going to go disqualified, but assassinated is right.
That's the right word.
Assassination isn't that far behind, so I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, those two words always on the tip of my tongue getting mixed up together,
Disqualified, assassination, same thing. No difference. Exactly the same thing.
The JFK disqualification was not.
What's your seed hash, just so I can be sure I have the right
one?
What's your hash?
I'm on the name screen. I'm at Gino. You got Gino with kind of gray on?
Yeah, is the names that are there pre-filled? Juju, Gino, Shaper,
Juju,
Shaper?
Gino, Shaper. Those are the ones. So you got the right ones.
Cool. Let's try this again. But I'm ready whenever.
All right, we got one.
Yeah.
All right.
I was trying to make my name Kong the Best, but it only fit Kong the B.
Kong the B.
Which I kind of like, so I'm going back.
I named myself something along a similar note.
What'd you name yourself, you meanie?
Well, if Kong knows, then he's watching the stream and he's already cheating too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. And I wasn't sure. I didn't want to, open chat. And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm on the...
He's like, should I?
I guess you can filter questions to us.
I mean, could. Yes, certainly could do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the stream.
Yeah.
However, I will be explaining what I'm doing
Yes.
And Kong will be explaining what I'm doing because he's watching my stream.
I'm not watching nothing.
There we go. And I'll be
I'm not
watching
watching
both of
him.
you guys, so I will try to ask. I'm gonna do my best to ask questions that don't theoretically interrupt. With two of you on here, it's going to be very easy if I say something. You're both going to be like, "Oh, so that's what he has." So it's kind of hard to do that, doing kind of side commentary and asking questions that aren't spoilery for everybody. But we'll do what we can. It's not
Kong
for
is-
any prizes except for that 5 million Kong bucks that went down the toilet because I didn't say the right answer earlier.
Right.
Yeah.
What a shame.
I know, right? Gosh.
A lot of crying just dropping those Kong bucks.
I
in the
know, right?
incinerator.
I just so heartbroken. I needed those.
What are you gonna
bucks.
do?
I was saving up. All right. Tell you what. Let's go ahead and get this started. Let me go ahead and drop in the dot start button here. Good luck. Dot start, and we should have a timer about 10 seconds.
Woo!
So good luck. And I will actually start the number here once I see on screen here the thing's actually starting to move. So it might be a few seconds difference from what the racers are going to see and what we're going to see on screen here. And that's a go there. Good luck, have fun. So we've got OJ, D, Kong Debe, and Kong Fake are our racers today.
Oh!
Oh! There we go. I'm going to start the timer there so we can see that.
He
There we
didn't
go.
like that one, did he?
Oh!
Did we get Desert Eagle too, or were they not?
Yes,
aboard
we
one?
have, for our races today, we have Kong Cakes, Anthole, Desert Eagle, and OJ Machine are our 4 racers today. So it looks like we're starting off with Mario, a character that looks like Mallow, and a character that looks like Gino, apparently. Again, you'll have to excuse me, I don't know what everybody's actually capable of doing. But I will ask those questions as we go along here. So, one of you can, if you want to say, when we talk about Super Mario Randomizer, what are some of the things that we could expect, for the randomizer for this game? Just some general ideas.
A couple good things. You want to, with the way that it shuffles stats and items and stuff, you really want to be on the lookout for shops. And trying to find some good equipment early on is usually something that can help. You might not have any money for it, but you can start to find good things and come back for them. That's going to help you out a lot.
So obviously, the
One
bigger
thing,
the numbers, the better.
Yeah. And it shows you like what everything does, and even they have some buffs, and you'll see like on the top it'll show what it has immunities for. You know, whether any of the status ailments or elemental attack immunities or defense. So it's got all the information there. It's really nice. It's something that is you kind of play the randomizer a lot, and you like these things, and you go back and play the regular game, and it's not as like quality. When you're like, oh man, like can they just put that in the regular game? You know what I mean?
So the flag set originally was set to be an open and casual. So those who are familiar with the flags, it was set for that. But it looks like there's some other changes that might have come along with it from some custom flags. So as you've mentioned there, clearly we're not working with the vanilla items per se when it comes to stats. So even I can probably be like, I have no idea what it's supposed to be, but I can see what it is. Good for those who've not played before. That doesn't really matter what it was supposed to do.
Yeah, I that's something I wish was in the Earthbound randomizer, because I really like the idea of generating equipment, but just not knowing what it does, it's kind of
you can do a little bit of gear randomization when it comes to that in Earthbound, but the items are still statted like a normal item. They're just named differently.
Yeah.
And you can get.
I'm always like, oh, is this the most expensive one? Like, which one's this kind of line up with, you know?
Okay. So it looks like any good randomizer, there's a list of key items that you're supposed to try to find to open access. Thank you for the link there earlier in the Discord. You can actually go to the randomizer website itself, and it does give you a good idea of what you're looking for. I imagine it might tell you about where key item locations are, but what is the general goal of this particular randomizer, or the game in general?
Yeah, so with this game and the flags that we have, we gotta find the 6 stars, and then we have to beat Smithy. So sometimes you can do 7 stars, but this we left 6 was the standard,
So
or
a
the
little
default
faster.
rather. Yeah, not as many to grab, which is nice. So yeah, you want to find bosses. They'll be all in all their normal areas, but they'll be swapped between each other.
Okay, so boss shuffled in.
Yep.
Yep.
A couple things. Some bosses, like some attacks, even if a boss is scaled real low, are just like super strong. So like
Right.
Axum Rangers are something that are really, really troublesome early on.
So they're not statted to the locations that they're in. They're statted to what they would normally be. Or am I?
They are statted to the location that they're in, but some bosses, like the Axum Rangers, they'll
Right.
have moves that are impossible to block or one-hit kills.
That
or
certainly sounds
do-
familiar.
Yeah, like status changes that you can't fix. And
So something
it
similar
makes-
like with Earthbound, where you have the bosses in different locations. They're not as difficult, perhaps, but they've got certain things that just really suck to run into.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
if you get the Manny statue
Yeah.
and it, early on it has the reflect and it has those powerful spells. So even though they don't do as much damage, just having access to all those are.
Right.
But in this one, like Breaker Beam is the real one. I think Axum Rangers and the other thing that's like some weird egg yolk. They both use that Breaker Beam, and it just tears you up. Even late game, it still does a lot, but especially when you don't have very good armor on, you just get melted.
Not mouse over here. So, for those who are joining us, Super Mario RPG Randomizer. Of course, we've got Anthole and Concakes on comms here. For reference, this game was made, if you want to feel older today, in 1996. This game is almost 30 years old. 3 years off.
Oh,
Yeah, I know that makes you feel good.
I don't think you were supposed to say that.
I know, right? Well, hey, you know what? I'm hitting the big 4-0 this year, so I can say it as much as I want. Or not.
Nice.
So,
Mazel tov.
or not. Mazel tov. Or not, I should say. But for those who are interested, this game has never seen a re-release or a report or anything. It's not been on any other console. I think did it make Virtual Console at one point, perhaps?
Yeah,
It did
it's on the
make Virtual
Wii.
Console, but on the Wii. But for those who were here earlier heard, and those who watched Nintendo Direct, we are going to see a Super Mario RPG remake come out on November, I believe you said 17th.
Yeah, I think yes, 17th, I believe.
That has definitely made my list, even though I've never, and again, shame on me, I've never played this particular one before. I think I played for like 5 minutes or so, and I just didn't get into it at the time for some reason. I can't really explain it because I don't know, but I figured I'm not gonna not put this on. We're not gonna put this on the channel just because one person who happens to be hosting it has never played it. Y'all have seen it, y'all have played it, y'all love it, and it's about due time that I get off my butt and start paying attention to it. And obviously, being somebody who enjoys randomizers and RPGs and Square Enix in general, I'm surprised at myself for not having getting into this sooner. But looks like a lot of fun. Looks like some interesting mechanics for combat. I don't know what you want to talk about combat shenanigans for this. Just how does combat shenanigans work?
You got it? You want to get it? Oh yeah.
You got it. You got it.
Yeah. So this game, this is like, I think this has got to be like the first, or very close to the first. They Sorry, trying to talk and
No, you're all
control
right.
at the same time.
I know I'm asking kind of big general questions here, and while you're actively trying to stomp on each other here, but
They added this they call it a timed hit system, and every attack and magic and defending, most defending, some don't have a way to defend, but they'll have a little timed key that you can press to give your attack extra power. You get a little extra animation, a little extra jingle, and you'll do more damage or you'll defend more. And it's a really big part of the game, and it really added something to combat. I feel, because like, you know, you have so many games where you get into those random encounters just mashing A to get by them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But in this, it was a little bit more fun to do the combat. That's why I like this as a kid. I was kind of like in RPGs.
Combat. So you get the RPG feel, but you're not just like push A to win. Which, to be fair, not all RPGs were completely that way, but you could certainly get yourself set up to where it was a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's definitely, especially in like random encounters when you're just trying to get by and just get to the next area. You know, you're already stronger than everything. You're just walking, you're just mashing A to get through every fight, you know?
That's the other thing about this game that I really like is there's no random encounters. You know, the enemies you could see, so if you don't want to fight them, you could just kind of maneuver around them, and that's really nice.
Yeah, because some RPGs do absolutely get in a little over their head with some of the random encounter stuff. Well, it's one thing if you have to worry about grinding up levels. It's another if you just want to play the game and you're like 2 steps fight, 2 steps fight, 1 step fight, versus a game where you can clearly see where the enemies are. So if you want to fight, you can address that. If you don't want to, then you just walk the other way, or try to dodge it, which in itself is another game entirely. It's like, can you dodge as many of these battles as possible? Which ones can you dodge?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's why games like this and Chrono Trigger are so like
right, because Chrono
they
Trigger
got like a
similar
port on the DS, you know, that got a little bit of enhancements for Chrono Trigger, but like the games still stand up without that random encounter that just stops you. With you being able to control the pace of the game, like, man, those games still hold up so well.
Yeah. One of these days we'll get Chrono Trigger back on here as well. I think when we tried to show it off was the first or second time I had actually tried to complete the seed. I gotta say, I really, really enjoy the Chrono Trigger, except, you know, I'm just not as familiar with it. That's the other problem with to do all these randos is you want to do all the randos, but it's like you gotta kind of know the game a little bit for some of them.
Yep, yeah. That's I tried the Chrono Trigger one time, and I think I got cut off doing something else, and I haven't gone back to it. And I always keep telling myself like, hey, I gotta go back and do that again.
And for Chrono, you gotta watch it though, because there's like 2 or 3 different randomizers for it out there. The main one I think for speed is Jets of Time.
That's the one I was looking at. I liked
Jets
getting access to different areas and whatnot.
Right. Yeah, Jets is about as close to the open world feel that you can get than the other available ones. Because there was Wings of Time, which is the slower version essentially, and there's another one which I can't recall. But Jets is the equivalent of like Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise or Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, where you start with the airship basically, and you can go almost anywhere to start. But you've got that access immediately. Chrono Jets of Time, depending on how you set it up, is essentially the same idea. But I'm assuming, based off the flag set, that's sort of what this has going on too, a sort of open world where you can sort of just go anywhere, not access everything, but go anywhere early on.
Yeah. So I noticed that the stats on the weapons and equipments aren't shuffled, but who can equip them and stuff is. So there's potential for some decent stuff if you can find good equipment.
Yeah.
I apologize. I grabbed the things that you got, so I might have missed a flag or something here. So my apologies.
No. I think I might have left that one because that was one of the casual flags.
Sure.
I think I might have just hit it to shuffle equipment.
Who can
equip the items? And yeah, so
yeah, because one of the interesting things I've noticed while watching people play is that if a character is using something that character doesn't normally, the sprite changes.
Yeah,
so
and it
like
can make
Mario
some
becomes
fun
Mallow
little...
or Gino becomes like Princess or something like that. I'm not saying that that's happened, cough, but I'm just saying that I've noticed that happening, and I was curious if that was a normal thing. Seems like it.
Yeah, that's how they had to get it for to have everybody use the weapons. They actually at the start when the randomizer was first coming out and in the beta, the open, Gino couldn't. Nobody could equip Gino's weapons, and Gino could only equip Gino's weapons. They were having trouble, I guess, with getting the character to. Like, I guess they're just maybe it's just having a hard time getting him implemented in. But you notice it sometimes when Gino and Bowser, like, when there's multiple of them on the screen using their weapon, they kind of freak out a little bit.
Right.
So I'm wondering if that's maybe why it took Gino a little longer to get everybody's weapons. That's just a pure guess. I have no idea about anything, you know.
Well, anytime you start mucking around with game code and you start changing how things are going to work, you have to keep in mind not just the code itself or the attack itself doing whatever stat point it's doing, but how a lot of things are tied in with animations and whatnot. So you have to consider that too. So that makes sense. But speaking of combat, which most of you have done a significant amount already, how does the leveling system, how do you level up a character? What makes sense to do for characters?
Okay, so
because that works not only for the base game but for the randomizer as well.
Yeah, with this, the way it's looking with the equipment and everything, if you can find good equipment for every character, like a really strong weapon and armor,
sure,
then, you know, pounding a decent amount of stats into attack can be good. Sometimes I like to focus on attack and I give a few to the other ones just to not let them fall too far behind. Or if you get somebody who has a good spell, like healing, you might want to pump their magic up, you know.
Sure.
And sometimes I just will look between the three and see which one gives me the biggest boost. And I'm like, okay, I'll take that one then.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll get, like, you know, a single point increase, but sometimes they'll get, like, 4 or 5 increase.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's, like, a specific, like, rhythm to that or anything like that, but it's definitely worth it to do the bigger ones. Otherwise, I usually just focus on attack personally.
So would you say for a vanilla-based playthrough to focus on whatever gives you the most, or focus on more of what that character seems to use? Like, I'm stepping out of randomizer for a moment, but just like vanilla game.
Mm-hmm. I think.
I mean, I'm not asking for future tips for myself when I actually go playing this or anything, cough. But
no, I mean, I think that's kind of the right idea. Like Peach is a very magic heavy.
Sure.
So you probably want to stick to magic, but if you see a big HP increase, like, yeah, you want to get that. If you see like a big defense increase, you could switch to that one. If special's only giving you 1 that time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually focus on like a kind of like a attack, unless I get something good from one of the other ones, then I'll pull a switch.
Now, this is the other part that I'm seeing here and kind of questioning here is, I understand, like in the vanilla game, you get different characters at certain points as you progress.
Mm-hmm.
how does getting or replacing characters in the randomizer work? In this case, since we're using open flags.
So
Yes. Oh yeah, you got it.
okay. The character placements will still be the same, but it's just a matter of who's there. So, like, we're starting today with Mario, Gino, and Mallow. So the characters that will be out there will be you'll have Bowser, Peach, and who would be the other one?
No, it's only two.
Oh, it is only two. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's only
Yeah,
there's only 5 characters in the and 5 allies in the game.
Yep.
Okay. The 3 that you apparently get to just start with here in randomizer, and the other 2. Got it. In the randomizer, though, would you end up seeing duplicates, or would you?
I don't think you can do duplicates in this one. There might be a flag for that, or there, I know there's a flag for excluding characters, but I don't know if that makes a duplicate. I think that maybe just removes them. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll have to go through some of these the flags here, see what all's there.
Yeah, so the way we have the flags here, we start with 3 characters, and then there's one in the end of the forest maze where you fight the boss, where you normally would get Gino, and then in Marrymore where you normally get Princess Peach. And with the they have a flag to only start with 1 character, which is a lot harder.
Yeah.
So then the next characters would be in the first place, Mushroom Way, and then when you beat the minecart boss in the Moleville, that's where the other ones are.
Minecart levels.
So it's like they have a character kind of early on in Mushroom Way, but you walk up there and there's a hard boss, turn right around. So you can be alone for quite a while.
It doesn't appear to, I mean, at least for the sets flags today, it doesn't appear that that's going to be as much of an issue. You guys get to start with a full party.
Yeah.
It's definitely helpful, although some of the bosses, like I went to Bandit Way and I had trouble with the boss there and ended up dying.
Yeah, I might be doing that as well.
Because they just use the one attack that does the most damage. Yep.
Well, that's
a lot of times in early game, I find I'm going places to see what the bosses are,
right.
and then just hoping that they don't do that one attack that
gauging whether or not it's going to be worthwhile to make the attempt to get whatever item they're blocking or area they're blocking.
Exactly.
And see if it's even worth it at that point. So it's one of those things that's very interesting with randomizers in general, and obviously random money. I like to mention things like this occasionally. How the vanilla games, the game has a lot of the vanilla mechanics still intact. Sometimes they'll correct glitches or things that are oversights, or give you boosted experience, which is nice. But one of the big things about randomizer that makes it interesting is it challenges you to think, where can I go with what I have? Or what can I do with what I have? Do I have enough know-how or enough of what I need to be able to take out a certain spot? Or if I'm racing, what's going to be the fastest thing I can do that's reasonable? Or like running into a boss that you take a peek in, you go, yeah, there's no way I'm fighting this boss right now. You just come back later. Or you're the one that takes, you know what, I might just have to risk this because I don't have a lot of checks and I'm already here. I might as well just do it.
Yeah. And there are things like
Pedal Blast exists.
Yeah, that's what got me.
I'm back like 20 minutes.
I saved before going in there because I saw what boss it was and I was like,
and there's that. Save early, save often, or save the time and don't take the saves and risk the, it's one of those things.
My motto is to always save.
Right.
But I just forget. So.
Well, and I would say,
then he turns it off.
Yeah.
When he dies.
It's like, I'm good. I'm out. Now, personally, I like to take the saves as often as I can get them, as often as I run across them. It doesn't necessarily give you the fastest time if you're playing for fastest time. But again, you gotta just gauge what event you're doing too here. This is a very friendly, very casual, very, we're here for the funsies of it. We're not here for who's the fastest or who's the best at something. We're just here for fun. If you want one of those kind of tournaments, I'm sure there's a bunch of those floating around. Actually, the one I just got done watching not too long ago, I believe it was Friday, was Symphony of the Night lycanthrope flags. Those were some races.
Nice.
Those were some heckin' races. Watching the two people there that were in the first and second slot who just masters of the game. It's really impressive to watch the people who have spent a lot of time doing this. And even if, and this is not saying anybody who's watching is like, well, I got to master the game before I can play it. No, you don't have to. I mean, I've never played this game, and I'm already looking at this going, this doesn't look too bad. I mean, I'd probably try this, even having never played it before. I would just, would help if I knew what the heck it was doing, but it's like, what's this giant hammer face? What's this guy do?
This is a very friendly game, for sure. Like a beginner friendly, and extremely approachable. And honestly, with randomizers, and this is just me, but I've learned more about the game and about the speedrun by playing randomizers than I would ever just playing casually.
If you want to be good at a game and you're doing a speedrun, try the randomizer, because you like Ant said, you will learn more about the game playing the randomizer than you will playing vanilla. And actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because even one of the two guys that I mentioned earlier for Symphony of the Night was listening to him talk about it. He says, there were things about the game I didn't even know existed, because all I did was the any percent for the longest time. I didn't even know this was a possibility. But because I now have seen that, I now understand even more potential out of what I already do. And me personally, I talk about one of the games that I play every once in a blue moon, Zelda 2. Zelda 2 Randomizer is a fantastic way to learn how to actually play the game. And I say that because Zelda 2 is notorious for being very difficult for most people, and for everybody, I should say. But you play the randomizer, you learn so much about the game and how to act and interact that it makes the vanilla game almost easy. Again, I use the word almost, but it's still tough. Right. But Zelda 2 Randomizer is amazing. I mean, you have people that will probably not touch vanilla game, but will go any day, all day with the randomizer. It's just the way it is.
I haven't played that one in a while.
It's a solid one. I don't know if we've done that one on channel in a while, but it's out there.
So like we got next week pick.
Maybe, yeah. No, I mean, I personally, the ones I usually gravitate towards are usually the same 5 or 6, but we do our best to try to get ones on the channel that I know are very popular, people play a lot of, and I don't want to just show off just the ones that Weapon's happy with, If that were the case, there's a lot you'd never see. But, and I'll say this, it's not that I haven't shown we haven't shown off, I keep saying it's not an I channel, it's a we channel. We haven't shown off Super Mario RPG because it's just, I'm not familiar with it, so I haven't recommended it or suggested it. But a lot of people in chat have asked for it and suggested it, so it's like, it's time. Whether I know it or not, it's time. And with the announcement, it was super timely, so it made sense.
Yeah, you picked this before the announcement happened, right?
I did, actually.
Yeah.
It's like, I called it. I'm cool before it was cool. Damn it. I get one.
You know what? Everyone who's hyped for that, thank Weapon. Weapon put it out there.
Thank you.
And here we are.
And I've never even really played it, so I was cool before it was cool. I've never been cool. I just want to put that out there. Anyways. And the dog agrees.
The dog in the background.
Damn right. No, this is a really super cool looking game, and of course it's a yes, thank you, dog. I appreciate it. You're doing good. He's protecting the house. Although he'd just go after pets, he wouldn't care. He's just barking at anyways. No, this is one that I've been meaning to get around to for a while. I've just not taken the effort to do so. I've always been a fan of Final Fantasies and most of Square Enix's stuff. And of course, with Final Fantasy 16 having just come out, yeah, I'm not playing it. I'm not gonna end up playing it for a while because Weapon does not have a PS5, and at this point I need a chair first. my computer chair sadly has bit the dust, so now I need to work on getting a chair. Which is ironic because of a chair chat that happened in one of our channels for like the longest time. That went on for almost a year, didn't it? It was at least a year or so. Or at least several months. Yeah. That was funny.
Yeah, it's been a while. But let's talk after Weapon.
You're right. But yeah, always been a fan of Final Fantasy games. The newer ones have gotten a lot more actiony than the classic ones here have been, but still super huge for the style of game. And this one's a great game. I mean, I think the only reason for me, and I'll say this, and this is nothing against anybody who enjoys Mario in general. I think for me, I personally just avoid Mario games. It's not because I want to. Not that I don't think Mario games are good. I just personally avoid them because I think for a lot of people, they run those games. A lot of people play those games. So for me, I more enjoy watching people play them than me actually playing it because I suck at them. I don't speed run any Mario game. And it's not because, again, that I don't want to. It's just that I would rather watch other people play them because I get to watch the talent other people have for them than myself. And I think for part of it for me is I almost lumped this one in with it. And while yes, this is Mario, it's nowhere near the same kind of Mario game.
No.
It's far more like a traditional JRPG than it is platformer, which is blatantly obvious here. Which runner is the doggo? He's runner number 5, aptly named Sir Not Appearing in this film. I love that joke. I love that movie. I have not watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail in so long. Anyways. So yeah, I had this big list of questions I was going to ask as you guys played along. You guys kept playing through here, and I think I've lost about half of them. So.
That's fair. Well, right now we're looking for key items, trying to get items that will give us access to other areas or other key items. Earlier you might have seen Kong or I or the other players at the pond doing the music composition
for example.
With the tadpoles.
For example.
But we're right now just kind of going around looking for easy bosses and areas where we can get stars. Some of us might be having more luck than others because I sure have not found a star yet, despite beating multiple bosses. So
I had to go back, so I'm kind of.
Yeah. I mean, that's the nature of Randomizer. Sometimes you'll get everything up front, or other ones you won't see it until an hour or two into it. Run into that all the time with some of the Sorrow games that I run. Sometimes you just don't find anything.
No.
But rest assured, they're in there somewhere, unless for some reason the randomizer's like, you know what? I know this is for a weekly presentation. This one's going to be a bad one on purpose. I've had a number of Soul Blazer ones to happen like that. It's like, this one's going to be great, and then you don't find the freaking metal sword until like 5 areas in, and you have to go all the way back and then rinse repeat. Yeah. Welcome to Randomizer. Usually Randomizer's not too bad, but it just depends on which one you're running and what flags you have set. The more complicated the flags, the more of a time you're going to have. Some people really like the challenge. And some people just want to play it, and that's me usually. I just want to play the game. I don't need the super challenge. If it happens, it happens. Because
depends on my mood.
Yeah, even on basic, simple, quote, casual flags, you can still have some stinkers.
Yeah, I remember when I was doing the Ocarina of Time randomizers. I started with like the most ridiculous flag set ever, and I played it too good. He was like, what flag set do you want to use? I was like, well, I've been using this. He's like, are you insane?
Right.
What's wrong with you?
Well, I have one of those that I do. I mean, you guys have seen me do this one before, but Dawn of Sorrow, I put on full chaos. Map randomizer, weapon randomizer, animation randomizer. I mean, I have everything ticked off except for, I think, just enemy randomizer per as far as their speeds and whatnot. Because you can actually jack up the enemy's speeds and make them do some really wacky things. Frozen Spade, thank you for the raid. Appreciate that very much. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're doing as well. Welcome to Retro Gaming Live TV Rando Monday.
What's your favorite rando, Colin? I don't even know.
My favorite rando? Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, you want a spot? Come on.
What's the one I played a lot? This one I played a ton.
We've seen you play this one a lot. I've seen you play Metroid a lot as well. Super Metroid.
Yeah, Super Metroid I like Link to the Past a little bit.
That's a good one. That's a favorite. That's a fan favorite for a lot of people as well. Also, I want to apologize for last week for those who decided to try to save the animals. I flipped a flag that I wasn't quite sure what it was going to do. One of you ran in and destroyed the animals with no hesitation. I didn't know that flag did that. I'm like, oh, well, oops. And you tried. Somebody tried to save the animals. Nope. For reference, some randomizers, they like to have some crazy steely flags like that, where instead of blowing the wall out in the animal room to save the animals, you actually shoot the animals instead. And so the person jumped in, tried to hyper beam the wall and hyper beamed the animals instead. Like, oh! Oops!
I love it.
Yeah, like I said, I ticked that off, honestly, 100% not knowing that that's what that was going to do. I'm like, well, oops. But yeah, there's a lot of really, really, really good randomizers out there. If there's a game that you like that has some level of RPG complexity or hunting for items, most likely there's a solid randomizer out there. And Random Monday is, for the most part, I mean, first and foremost, a community event. Anybody who knows anything about the randomizer has one they recommend. Please let us know in the Discord for sure, or in chat here. And we definitely will try to get it up and running. This one was technically one that a lot of people wanted to see, so I was like, well, let's get Super Metroid out of the way and we'll jump to this one. So here we are. Personally, you asked which one is your favorite randomizer. For me, I really enjoy doing Dawn of Sorrow, I think more than any other. But I've played, I'm not going to say all the ones I play, but I've played a lot of them. But my usual cycle ones that I play is Dawn and Aria of Sorrow, Soul Blazer, and I'm trying to add in as one of my primaries Final Fantasy 1. Final Fantasy 1 is a super one as well. What makes that one interesting is all the items being literally where they're not supposed to be, so it changes what area you go to first, like any other randomizer. But because Final Fantasy 1 is not super complicated to begin with, per se,
Sure.
it's relatively short in that regard. And of course, most randomizer tools do help you level up a little faster, so it makes the game a little quicker in that regard. Otherwise, you'd be grinding for 15 hours every single randomizer.
Right.
But part of the reason I want that one is there's this really cool tool out there called Archipelago, and one of these days we need to have a Random Monday of Archipelago. Specifically, for those who are familiar with it, it is a multi-world randomizer. And some of you may have heard of the multi-worlds before. It allows you to have multiple people on the same game sharing items between the game. So, say for instance, Kong goes to his plasma beam location, Super Metroid. It'll send me, I don't know, my ice beam, something goofy like that. But what Archipelago does is not only multi-worlds between the same game, but it does multi-worlds between multiple different games. So you could literally have two people playing Super Metroid, two people playing Link to the Past, two people playing Final Fantasy 1, another person playing Time Spinner, which is another great randomizer that I need to learn more of. Basically a Metroidvania style game, but Time Spinner, great game.
I remember Time Spinner. That was fun.
Solid
that
game.
once.
What are some of the ones? Link to the Past is in there. I think Zelda 1's in there. Super Mario World is part of Archipelago. So somebody could play regular Super Mario World with randomization, which is really crazy to me. Because for that one,
games too.
Because what's cool about that one, it can reduce stuff like running and Yoshis and flowers. So you have to have somebody unlock your power-ups for regular Mario, Super Mario World, which is that's insane to me that works that way. It's really cool. Also, I think there's a couple Pokemons are in that list as well. But Archipelago is such a fascinating tool that lets you do that. It's amazing. Chrono Trigger is being worked on to be added to that list as well. Some people were beta testing that not too long ago, so that will be added to that list as well. Just so many cool things, and that's one of the reasons I personally wanted to win Final Fantasy, because that's part of that list.
Right.
But randomizers just make things really, really interesting. You can tell I go off about it way too much. It's RandoMonday, so I mean it makes sense.
Yeah, you're good.
Which is why this is what I like to do. But yeah. All right, so I know we've been talking a lot about other randomizer stuffs and other things other than the game that's being shown on screen, and I do apologize for that. So coming back to you guys here, looks like I see somebody has picked up. I'm not going to say who did it, but somebody has picked up a fourth character. Now we'll look. Yep. On screen, you guys can see it in chat if you wanted to chat about it. I don't know if Kong and Ann are watching it, but if you guys want to talk about it, I think you're welcome to. But it's interesting here. We got some differential going on here.
Oh, you bastard!
Path divergence.
Not you, the boss I'm fighting.
Excuse the frick me.
Really bad timing there.
Yeah, man.
You son of a! Like, I'm sorry. It wasn't me. Maybe it was. I'm still sorry.
Oh, good. Say someone's beating me in this randomizer. I'll show you.
I'll pull your internet plug. I guess it wouldn't matter with one of these, would it? As long as you still have power on your computer, I guess it wouldn't matter. Anyways.
Yeah, I'm hopefully about to get a new character here. We'll see how it plays out. Why?
Yeah, I gotta say, some of the non-typical Mario characters they have in this game is interesting. Yeah, they got the typical ones, your Bob-ombs, your Goombas, your Koopas. But then you got something like it's on Ant's screen right now, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. I have no idea what that is, and I'm not going to ask you to describe it because I don't want you to give away where you're at, but what the even heck is that?
I mean, Kong, if you're fine with it, I'll describe it.
Yeah, you got it.
This is Boyer. He's a bow, like a bow and arrow bow.
Huh.
And he shoots arrows at you.
I don't know about arrows, but that guy looks like
he's a good guy.
There it is.
He's gonna be fun in the remake because he's like kind of goofy when he's talking to his boys, you know.
I was gonna say this guy looks like he's seen some things.
He's like, yeah.
You got those googly eyes. He has seen some things.
Yeah, he definitely does the.
Yes, he does. Which makes him seem just a whole lot less scary, to be honest. It's like,
yeah, he's like
snap.
jokey mid boss.
GG, take that.
Yeah, yo, my least favorite boss in the regular game. Yo, what's his name though? Not Alexander.
I have no idea. Tell me.
I was gonna guess Alexander Hamilton, and you said it's not. So now I have no clue.
What's his name, man?
He's gonna take his shot though.
Yarinovic or whatever his name is.
Oh, Yardkovic?
Yeah, whatever he would whoop my ass casual.
Horrible. Dude. That was like a 40-minute fight minimum for me growing up. Obviously less now, but man, I hated that fight too.
How many times, and this is not just necessarily specifically to Super Mario RPG or even a randomizer, have you gone through and you played a game You get that one boss that you spend a half an hour, hour, two. I spent 2 hours straight the first time in Castlevania Symphony of the Night when you got to that boss. You know who it is if you know what it is. Freaking Galamoth. I spent literally 2 hours the first time I fought him. You know how long it took me to fight him the second time?
20 minutes.
30 seconds.
30 seconds. A little bit of a difference there, buddy.
Well, it's the difference of having shield rod and Alucard shield and not fucking knowing what the hell you're doing. But it's amazing how in game development they have these characters that are just so ridiculous that you'll spend that much time fighting, and the next time, once you figured it out, it's like, how did it take me that long to begin with? And then you watch people, and again, I mentioned the Symphony of the Night the tournament that just happened for the Lycanthrope Seed, which basically you start with the wolf charms, so you can turn into a wolf immediately. It completely changes the dynamic of running around the castle. How they'll approach Galamoth and just laugh as they take him down. And again, for those who don't know who Galamoth is basically a 4-screen sized boss that if he hits you even once or twice and you're not ready, you're just dead. He's pretty much Symphony of the Night's secret boss, but if you know what you're doing, he's a joke, and it's just amazing. But I love how a lot of games have that character in the game, the super boss, and it's just like you have no idea what you're doing, but the next time you go to it, it's like he's a joke now. You know what he does.
No.
Then there's some that even if you know how they work, they're still never easy. But anyways, so it sounds like this yard fella was that one here for this one for some of y'all.
Oh yeah. He had an ability to like clone himself, and so his stupid attacks did twice as much damage, and then to top that off, also just had the water blast move, and just impossible to dodge. Not literally impossible. Well, it might be. I don't know, but it's
Water blast. Yeah.
Pain in the neck.
I think it's like some super easy way to tell which one's the real one too.
Yeah.
And I don't even think it's like in game. I just think it's like they fucking didn't make the controller like reset the default. So when he splits, it still stays on the right one, I think. Something like that, I'm pretty
Probably a minor oversight.
Yeah. So it's like you're fucking trying to guess as a kid. If you ever switch, you're always guaranteed to be wrong, because always the one it starts on.
Which one is it now? It's the same one. But he moved. It's still the same one. That reminds me of the Son of Sun boss in freaking Chrono Trigger. Probably one of the worst ones to run into because you have to keep guessing which one is he now.
Son of Sun's so annoying.
I sold something I didn't mean to.
Oh no.
Oops. So real quick, just want to tell everybody we appreciate y'all coming out, hanging out with us today, watching some Super Mario RPG Open World Randomizer. With me on comms, we have Con Cakes and Anthole, who is also on screen. We also have playing along Desert Eagle 417 and OJ Machine, both doing their run here of this particular randomizer. My name is Weapon, of course, and just really enjoying seeing what you guys got going on here. It's definitely one I need to at least play the vanilla game here very soon. I might try to make this one the next game I play once I finish my 4-job Fiesta run here.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I gotta start mine.
Right?
Oh my gosh, I gotta register and everything.
Yeah. So for those not aware of that one, Final Fantasy V 4-job Fiesta is actually it's an event that happens every year and has been for at least probably the better part of a decade as well. I mean, you want to feel old about that one. Where there's I know, right? It's been going on for at least 7 or 8 years. I'm not sure exactly how long, but it's been going on for a while now, if not longer. But basically, there's a bot that originally lived on Twitter. They have his own channel now. The guy who made it, his own webpage. But basically, they chose for you the 4 jobs that you had to use through the entirety of Final Fantasy V. And alongside of that, every year they usually host it as a charity. So any money donated into the event. Or donate it in to change a character. If you didn't like it, you can donate money in to change your character, your job. You could do that, and it all goes to a charity. It's been gone to a bunch of different things every year. This was the first year, finally, that I decided to jump on that train myself, and my first group of characters was pretty much exclusively fighter classes. So it was interesting, basically having no magic the entire time. Even when I did get magic, it was like, I'm not using it, so it didn't matter. But it's really interesting because it's, in essence, a way to challenge yourself to play through Final Fantasy V in a way you don't expect to. And 5 is probably the Final Fantasy I've played the least of the early 6. So it was a good opportunity for me to put a few plays in it, especially given Pixel Remaster being out. One interesting thought that I had, maybe as a third playthrough, is to try to do one of the randomizers for Final Fantasy V, but the job still being from the 4-job Fiesta, which the challenge of that would be you can choose, say, my recommendation would just do the pure Chaos one, with or without duplicates. But the reason for that is the way that the randomizer for 5 works is you are not guaranteed a specific job at any point. You have to dig pretty deep to find those jobs. So with a Chaos, I believe it's the Magma or Meteor run that they've got, you basically say, give me my 4 classes, and I can only use those classes or abilities based on those classes, even in the randomizer, which means you could be using Freelancer for a lot longer than you want to.
Yeah, my first year was 2016.
Right.
And I did a run. I won. I was like, all right, let me do one more. And I did it with the Chaos jobs and whatnot. So
Yeah.
I got Samurai, and then I got
an awesome
Thief,
one.
and then I got Samurai, and then I
Okay.
got Dancer. So I had to do the entire first half of the game as only thieves.
Wow.
The Byblos fight
That's
in
rough.
the library, where every
Yes,
time you hit
yes.
him, he uses Drain. Well, thieves don't do enough damage to like he'll always outpace you. So I had to farm 99 high potions by stealing them, and then fight the boss for 50 minutes until it ran out of MP from using Drain over and over again. And then I could kill it.
That right there is a good reason why you don't choose potentially the classic team, because there's options on the site to choose. Now, for reference, there's no anything that reconfigures your game or mods your game. You're playing on a purely vanilla version of the game, but you're doing self-imposed restrictions based off of what type of run you're doing. You just gave me a good reason not to choose the classic team. There's an option for choosing a classic team, which means you can only use the classes as they're given to you, but they're going to be exclusively based out of Final Fantasy 1. So, Knight, White Mage, Black Mage, Red Mage, Monk, Thief. That's it. There's nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you from just that, that's going to make the run very, very, very difficult, because there's a lot of moves pretty much from every single class in that game that definitely is very breaking of the game. If you get it like Samurai, you've got Zenny. As long as you have money, you're unstoppable. For example. Yeah.
If you get like a Black Mage though in Classic, you'll be pretty good.
Yeah.
They can do really silly damage.
Having a Black Mage or a White Mage is a very good backup for either healing or just damage in general, which is it's good. But I'll tell you this. If you get any mage class at all, you have the ability to break rods. That defeats so much of the game. So even if, yes, you did classics and all you could do was break rods, you're still doing good. But, all right. So we are coming up to about the 1 hour mark here. So how are you guys feeling about where you're at? Are you guys feeling good about it? Is it going well? Do you think? What's the gauge on this?
I feel like I'm going mad slow.
Mad slow. As in, I mean, make a gamble here. Less than half or less than the stars that you need, or not quite as many items. Yeah. Okay. Not quite as many items as you're looking for.
Yeah, I kind of know where the items are that I want. It's just about getting the money for them.
Uh-huh.
And now it's just about going and clearing out stuff. So I guess I'm not in a terrible spot because I think I'm kind of ready to fight most fights, I think.
Yeah, I feel good about my strength. I just have not. I have a lot of bosses that I can go back and handle. And that's kind of what I'm working on now. So we're in the star collecting phase.
Nice.
Would you say that's accurate? Calm.
Yeah, and hopefully finding a break card.
Mm.
The factory warp is enabled, I'm pretty sure, in the flags for casual.
Want to explain what that is?
Yeah, so the in classic, once you beat Booster's Tower and you fight the bosses up there, Night Guy and Great Guy, you climb back up Booster's Tower and Knife Guy's there and he's like, "Hey, come on, buddy, let's play a little gambling game."
Oh, jeez.
And you make a little gamble with him. And then
safety, cheater, safety.
if you beat him enough, then he'll give you the break card, and that lets you get into his brother Great Guy's casino. And that's hidden in the Land's End or Bean Valley, whatever one is called. I can't remember. Yeah, Bean Valley. Sorry. And once you get there, you can bet money. They got like fun little games in there. You know, it's just a little fun little thing for you to find. But in this version, once you get the card, break card, is that what it's called? Sync. That's how you can enter the casino. And once you go in there, it'll let you teleport. Instead of letting you play games, in this version, it lets you teleport to the final boss.
Huh. Oh, you know, okay. I'm going to make another reference to yet another randomizer because I'm that guy. Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. For those who are familiar, there's an item in the game called the Pass. Generally speaking, there's a bunch of objectives in the game that you have to do first, depending on the flags that you use. But usually the Pass is that thing. It lets you skip the entirety of the moon and go straight to the last boss. Usually for Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise, though, there's a bunch of objectives you have to do first before you can use it. Otherwise, it just won't let you. Yeah, that sounds exactly what that is. So I have here in the list on that page here, it's called the Bright Card. So that's nice to know that exists in the randomizer. So it's kind of skip the entire last section to go straight to where you need to go, as opposed to spend an hour or half or whatever going through to get up there.
And since there's no stars in Bowser's Castle, it really you can add stars to Bowser's Castle, but they're off by default. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to do the factory. You know what I mean? It really cuts out a big chunk of the game.
And if you're talking about beating a game quick or playing through multiple randomizers, it's good to have things like that. Because nobody wants to have to sit and go through the exact same thing over and over again if you have a way to get past it, especially if it's something that doesn't, under normal circumstances, have any benefit for you. In the case of Free Enterprise, it's a little different. Sometimes there's still a lot of benefit to going to the moon and doing some of those checks, but having the ability to skip past all of that, because that's a fairly significant chunk of the game, is pretty stunning. So I imagine it has a similar effect here.
Yeah.
And I do apologize if I make reference to a randomizer that you haven't seen or another game. By all means, let me know. I mean, I can give you some tips on where to look to check out that particular randomizer, or if I make a reference to something that you don't know or understand, please call me out on it. Like I said, I've played through or watched so many different randomizers at this point. I mean, which is a great thing, which is a good thing. But sometimes they start blurring together. It's the pro and con of the randomizers. You can have one game that you can play over and over and over again 100 times and not have the same seed and not have the same way through the game, which is fantastic, especially if it's a game you love, a game that you play the crap out of. It gives a lot more life to a game that, although it may not necessarily need it, the fact that it has it is amazing. Like, I really shout out to individuals who have been making randomizers for a while now. Specifically, I think one of the first major ones that cropped up was thanks to Fred Coughlin. Was the Zelda 1 was one of the first major ones that happened, and then immediately afterwards, he or they, other individuals worked on Link to the Past. Super Nintendo Zelda Link to the Past, which has been and will probably be for a fair time one of the most well-known and well-played randomizers that's out there. And we've actually shown that off on the channel multiple times in the past. I do like to bring it up occasionally because it is popular. People do know it. People have run it. But there's a lot of them out there, too, that have been around that are still very good. That might not see the light of day nearly as often simply because they're either lesser-known games or... Well, they're not Zelda. Generally, Zelda gets the most love when it comes to the randomizers. This Mario looks different. Yeah, these Marios certainly do look different. That is for sure.
I think one of the big things that helps Zelda, like Link to the Past, so much is just like all the treasure chests. Like,
right.
There's so many treasure chests they can add. Like, they can switch stuff between.
Yeah. It works very, very well for Zelda, especially Link to the Past, because it's already basically an open world game. And the only thing preventing the randomizer from working as well is just you do have to have certain items to get certain places. But based on how Zelda usually is set up, it doesn't matter. Because you can decide, maybe I'm going to go down today, or go left today to start. Where another time I'll go right, and you're still going to be just as much luck as anybody else trying it. And it's really, really cool. Just the amount of logic and flexibility that you have for it is just amazing. And pretty much all of the Zelda games, almost without question, have a randomizer, and they're all very, very good. Zelda 1, Zelda 2 randomizer. Zelda 2 randomizer is a bit tougher, but I tell you what, like I said earlier, it's so good. Link to the Past, definitely. Ocarina and Majora's Mask. We've actually had Ocarina on channel before. I personally have no talent for it, mostly because I don't play the 3D ones as well. So I let those who have better knowledge of those do it than me. You guys go right for it. I've tried. Believe me, I've tried. But there's actually a new one out that I want to check out. I want to see somebody play through it. It's actually an Ocarina mixed with Majora's Mask in the same game, the same seed. So for those who have been in the... Right? So those who have been in the randomizer scene for a while, it's not too terribly often where you have a multi-game randomizer. The biggest notable one is Super Metroid and Zelda Link to the Past. That's really one of the first ones that have done that. But part of that was because, technically speaking, it allowed it. It was a fun fact. The coding, a lot of the coding for the Zelda cart and a lot of coding for the Metroid cart were literally on opposite locations. Like Super Metroid was 1, 3, 5, 7, and Zelda was 2, 4, 6, 8. So all the coding was like zippered almost. So it was almost as if something similar to that. It's almost as if they were eventually intending on releasing a combo cart for them, but I don't know that they ever did. But most recent, like I said,
awesome cartridge.
It would have been that cartridge would have gone for hundreds, if not thousands, if it actually existed. I tell you what, most of us probably would have owned it. Most of us probably would have sold a kidney for it. But I've heard recently that somebody came up with an Ocarina Majora's Mask combo thing. I really want to check that out. Although I don't know that I personally would be able to ever do either in a combo cart like that. It would be fun to watch somebody do that. So we'll have to give that one a check out. But the closest thing to that would be multi-world, or the archipelago multi-world shenanigans. Well, technically you could do that on your own without having a single ROM, but having a single ROM to do both, or both of them tethered together via some maybe some Lewis scripting, would be nuts. I'll have to check that out one of these days. But yeah, definitely one of these days too. I've already said it. We've definitely got to get an archipelago multi-world going on. There's some really cool shenanigans going on with that. There's actually some people who are doing and the term is pixel sync. Basically, they've got like several dozen or a couple hundred consecutive seeds going on at once, and that can't get confusing whatsoever. But it's a dozen different games with 100. We'll just say a dozen different games, 100 different seeds, all being played asynced. So they're being played as they get played. But all those 100 different games are sending items to the other games for them to progress, and it's just such a stunning sounding thing. I would love to get a sync of something like that going at one point. But what's cool about it is just the volume of what they were capable of doing, or this tool is capable of doing with that is silly. And the amount of games, the amount of stuff between all the games, it's crazy. I love watching this stuff go down. But one notable thing about that though is BK mode happens a lot on those. And for those not familiar with that, BK mode in terms of multi-world simply means you're unable to continue or progress or collect anything whatsoever. So you're literally in a BK mode or Burger King mode, as the original person did. I forget the exact person who it was, but there was a multi-world of Legend of Zelda going on, and he's like, "I'm stuck. I'm going to Burger King." So then it permanently became known as BK mode. So he literally got up, left his computer running, everything running, got some Burger King, came back. I kept hearing the name, but it's already escaped me. My apologies. Excuse me again. Oh, we look on our screen. We have all of our runners in completely different places right now. This is the other fun thing of a randomizer race when divergence happens, because you got a lot of games where people end up going the same place pretty much sequentially, and then you've got games like this where there is no going sequential. You're just going wherever the wind leads, and literally everybody is in a completely different place right now.
And the wind is rude today.
And the wind can be rude, for dang sure. It was early today. We had some thunderstorms happen, and I actually didn't think I was going to be able to be on. It actually finally stopped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was... When it starts crack-a-booming out here, it's one of those, should I just turn my computer off now? Yeah, we get a few of those up this way. Yeah, East Coast.
How many stars you got, Ant?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I mean...
More than 0. How about you?
I also have more than 0.
Oh, what a coincidence.
I have more than 0.
Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me 3.
Oh, listen to the giant wink on that 3, he said.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What do you mean?
What are you gonna do to me?
There it is.
Nothing you didn't want already.
Today's stream brought to you by
Creepy Weirdos.
Creepy Weirdos.
Ew, creepy weirdo.
Oh boy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I like
How do
the
you feel
drug.
about?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask how you felt about bananas.
I hate banana.
Thank you. It's a
Ooh,
sound
banana.
clip of some.
Y'all gonna be all right over there? You need a moment?
He's great.
Even if I
Take
died
two.
from the water, and only she had the water, I prefer to die.
What is that even from?
It's from the challenge, my
It's
man.
from the challenge.
Turbo
Okay.
is a wacky dude.
All right. Check. Looks like the forecast is calling for more stars.
Oh shit!
Oh.
I lied.
Well,
The forecast is calling for it. Doesn't mean it's gonna happen.
it really ate away from you for a long time there, didn't it, Ann? The whole 2 seconds of your.
I was
Guilt.
hoping that the boss I just beat was gonna give me a star. It was
Hey,
gonna be great. It was gonna be.
It takes a few
beautiful.
moments for the Goombas on the hamster wheels to get moving. It's fine. We all have those moments.
What's the
Can I be
weapon?
that boss now?
No, you cannot.
I usually make that joke about my dog. If you consider a dog, a normal dog, in kind of like an imagery thing, has 10 hamster wheels in their head going at any time. My dog has 2, but at least they are very hard-working 2. Every once in a while, a third one wakes up for about a second, and he just does something that's just stunningly amazing, and then it goes back to sleep, and the other 2 have to work at it again. It's just dog, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of, he's out cold on the couch, which is fine. Yes, he can be there.
What's Betty doing? Oh yeah, he's sleeping behind me.
I was gonna say earlier, I like the comment that Dragon Lord Carter made in chat. BK mode is a prime example of how communities end up naming things. It's up there with a joke about speedrunner tricks being named either whoever figured it out or whom or wherever it was figured out, or something random like spicy taco trick because the runner figured it out after eating a spicy taco. Yeah, there's a lot of really cool fun tricks out there because it's like for games that don't always see a lot of love or have a certain number of people who speedrun it and they're like the only ones that do. Obviously, when they figure something out, you usually want to at least, point out like this person figured it out. It's great. This is like, call it, the Geno clip or something like that, which is amazing,
Right.
blah, 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 blah. But sometimes you get things like BK mode, which has nothing to do with a specific game. And it's just like, what's BK mode? It's like, means they're going to Burger King. Means they're done with this crap. They'll be back in about an hour. It works great.
I haven't had Burger King in years.
I would love some Burger King. Anyways,
I'll take a burger, but maybe not Burger King.
I got some burgers in the freezer. I can crack those out.
Here we go.
I know, right?
On the weapons house. Barbecue.
I
Bring
kind
the
of do
potatoes
want
out.
Burger
Not a-
King. I haven't had flame broiled in a while.
They're just so
No.
expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everything is anymore.
That's
Actually, the
true.
one I'm on right now is the stupid KFC, just because freaking. I will say this: I'm playing some modern games. You can slap my hand later. But I'm playing some modern games. I've been playing some Diablo 4, and KFC has a little promotion. If you order on their app, you get a little skin for in game.
Jeez.
I've got one more to redeem. Lord help me.
They just put a fucking KFC bucket on your head as like a helmet? Is that what you got?
I would pay for that. I would pay for that. Unfortunately,
I'm like thinking,
nothing so. If that was the skin that they were offering, I would have done it the moment I realized it was a thing.
They'll let you get that, and
Once
your weapon is a
that's
guitar.
it. You've won the game. There you go.
I'd go buy it.
I'd be on it. You not only would buy the skin, you would buy the game to wear it.
Yep, exactly.
Absolutely. No, it's not. Most of them aren't really anything crazy, but the very first one they unlocked, ironically for free, is the one that I use as my mainstay, which is the Pheasant Slayer bow, which is just a kind of a wicked looking red bow. That's all it is. But gotta get all the things. Gotta go get my chicken sandwiches for my skins. It's like, how much do you pay for a meal? It's like $10 per meal. It's come on, just to get a skin.
Yeah, but you get a skin valued at $17.
My gosh, yeah. And that is the reason, ladies and gentlemen, I didn't play Diablo Immortal. Oh, you need that skin to progress.
Oh, that's stupid.
Oh no, Immortal was such. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Moving on. Moving on. It's okay.
Can't hurt you anymore, Web.
Let's just. It still hurts.
It's
I actually. They were. Moving on. It can't hurt me anymore. It can't hurt me anymore. I have my rant about it. I'm not doing it here. I mean, I would, but I'm not doing it here. I'm trying. So how's that Mario go? I see somebody has all 5 characters.
Oh snap!
Oh snap!
Oh.
And I also
Look at 'em go.
I also see there has been some path resurgence here. Three of you are now in the same place.
Oh, I don't have the dumb thing, you dumb boy.
Better
Sorry.
watch out, you dumb boy.
I don't have the thing to do the thing. Do the thing. I'm doing it. Wait, I can't.
It's impossible.
It's impossible.
Would you?
Search
Oh my
your
God.
feelings and your backpack
And your bank account.
and your bank account. God damn it. Yeah, well,
One thing about this game is that I don't want to do any of the fights, so I just end up running away from most of them. And then I'm like, why am I so weak?
in the immortal words of Sean Connery, punch the keys.
It's too bad he's dead. We could have him be in the Mario Teaches Typing movie.
Oh gosh. Yes, punch the keys. Oh gosh, now I'm trying to put voice to the words. Just I'm gonna stop that one there.
We should have a Mario Teaches Typing randomizer.
Oh, I mean, it's pretty dang random to begin with. Why are we talking about Civil War? I'm on the home row, not in the Civil War. I don't need to know about Abe's hat. Come on.
Nice.
A Mario Marathon would not be complete without it. Now it's also not complete without Go Fish.
Oh.
Stay tuned.
Snap.
Right?
Next March, everyone.
Yeah. Well, don't look at
Mark
me
your
about playing that
calendars.
one good. It exists. I'll just say that.
Nope, you volunteered.
Son of a. It's like I opened my mouth.
Two admins have heard you volunteer, so it has to be true.
Yep.
What you guys know, I'm retiring from streaming forever. You will never hear me, see me again.
Retirement? Don't you remember that episode of The Simpsons with pictures of Maggie covering? Don't forget, you're here forever, or whatever it was.
You're here for her.
No, well, no, you're
Or forever.
you're
I don't
here
know.
forever.
I've not.
Yeah.
I'm here forever. That's all it is.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
There are no pictures, weapon.
So I don't even
You
get
gotta
that.
put up little RGL stickers above
You get the little cat hanging from a branch hanging there. It's like, no, you will hang in there, or you fall into a pit of like boiling soup or something. It's horrific.
my.
It's horrific, but it gets the point across. It's like, no.
Boiling hot maple syrup.
You know, that's not necessarily a terrible way to go. It's still terrible, but maple syrup's great.
Oh, it smells good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, nothing like melting
yeah.
flesh.
Well, the
Gosh.
maple's gonna be there.
We're talking about the maple syrup. Come on.
Oh, the maple syrup. Sorry.
This is not the- It got
was a
dark
little
in here
hungry,
real quick.
so-
I'm over here talking about getting maple syrup and all that fun stuff, and I'm over here melting flesh. It's like, well, I need to excuse myself and not say anything else horrible today.
See what you've done, Colin. Once
I didn't do
again.
anything.
Just talk about maple syrup being tasty.
No crime.
See, Joker Part 2 over here. Come on.
Not enough singing.
Except instead of being a normal Joker, he's Canadian. You know what I did to get these scars? It was a bowl of poutine, a little too hot.
Oh jeez.
All right, everybody, that's me. I'm out. Have a good week, everybody. Ugh. It's only Monday. I'm out. I'm gonna need a moment after that.
Take all the time you need, buddy.
Whew.
So, Kong, on a scale of 1 to 6,
Oh, snap.
how well do you think you're doing at this random?
Not that well, apparently. GG, though, buddy.
I didn't do nothing.
Huh?
I didn't do nothing.
Oh, I thought you were saying you had 6.
No.
I mean, maybe it does.
I'm 2 out of 6, I'd say. That's how good I'm doing.
Alright. Alright. Uh-oh, it's starting to get windy here now.
Oh, shoot. What the shit? I
I'm so...
walked by the fucking boss.
Oh shoot, what the shit just cracked me up.
Who's in the lead? The chat
real
is.
quick.
The chat is who is in the lead.
Oh shit. What
Yeah.
the shoot?
Yeah, the chat's in the lead right now. You guys got to catch up.
We're pretty far behind, huh?
Oh, it's all right.
Don't tell grandma. That's all.
Don't tell grandma.
Oh. That's terrible. Huh. Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. That's a piece of shit.
Oh, right.
What's your favorite boss? I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, Kong, but you could say who's in the lead without spoiling anything. Because we have no idea where the other person's gone. Right, Kong? Oh, he don't want to talk to me.
No, you don't want to talk. You got to. He's all muted now.
He's calculating.
Yeah,
He's got the
calculating.
numbers flying around his head.
Well, I will as soon as I can see where their star count is at, I will let you know. I know what Kong's is, and I know what yours is. And I can tell you that, at least from the count, it looks like he might be a little bit somewhere around maybe that direction over there.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, maybe not as much, maybe more than you think he is, or maybe less than. I don't know. But yeah, generally speaking, lead. The general goal of this randomizer is to get the stars and go after the final boss. Again, personally, I've not played this or beaten this personally, so my knowledge of the game is wildly limited, which is why we have Anthole and Concakes here on comms here today, so they can kind of keep us up to date and kind of lead us through the game here.
We have pretty good equipment right now, and we're trying to just find the 6 stars by beating bosses throughout the land. There are a couple of spots where we have to get key items, but other than that, we're pretty good.
Yeah, based on what I understand, the flag's currently set, the gear is shuffled around on who can wear what. Like, you could have Mario only be able to equip what Princess Toadstool would normally be able to wear, or Bowser equipping something that Geno should be equipping. That kind of randomization's in there. Obviously, colorations and what moves sets characters are getting, obviously, it looks like it's a bit random. But generally speaking, I'm trying to catch... Or yeah, having Mario using Geno's moves, or Geno using Mallow's moves.
Right.
I can tell you at this point, I do know who is in what place. Give me a moment and I will have the screen kind of shuffled up a little bit. So those watching can see, based on the numbers next to the names, you can see who's in what place, roughly. Ooh. 2 and 3 are very close. 1 is ahead. And there you go.
Did you say someone's close?
Close? No.
Close to each other.
Oh.
Close to each other, I should say. And I will actually tell you, it looks like we have one person who is at least a step or 2 ahead. I'm not going to say how many steps that actually is. But the other 3 runners there on screen appear to be fairly close to each other. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who's, listening in the comms over here. But I'll try to shuffle around the placements here as best I can on the screen as I notice things. Again, my unfamiliarity might not be helping the exact placement there, but just making assumptions based on, if nothing else, the star count.
Yeah, that's usually a pretty good indicator.
For games I've run before, I could definitely tell you, but having not done some of this one, that's all I can go by. But I gotta say, the game does look like a lot of fun. I mean, it really does.
Highly recommend it.
Highly recommend it. And I recommended it before the announcement. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I didn't even realize I had done that, but I did.
Yeah.
For those who are not aware, they are making a remake of Super Mario RPG, finally, and it will be coming out in November. I'll wait for the remake, Rando. You might be waiting a while. I'm
now
waiting.
The question is,
go ahead.
Will they finally put Geno in Smash?
The dog is growling, so that's probably a no. I mean, they barely got Waluigi in Smash as a secondary. They don't have it as a main character. It's not going to happen for poor Geno. Probably.
Yeah, what is he, like a Mii costume or something?
Something like that. I don't know. He's like, I got time. I'll wait for the rando. I got time. I tell you the rando I'm waiting for. I want to see any one of the Pixel remasters get a rando. I know one of them has a rando, but going through the process of getting it working is a bit atrocious at this point. But I'm waiting for proper randos to reach the Pixel remasters of Final Fantasy. There's 6 of them. Have at. I'll tell you though, once somebody figures it out for one of them, the other ones are going to fall behind fairly quickly. A lot of the mechanics for the first 5 are very, very, very similar. in as far as how some of them the things are programmed in. 6 is probably the breakaway per as far as uniqueness of a lot of things, but per as far as like certain mechanics, the first 5 are very similar. Obviously, the job system of 5 and 3 are very different. The stat leveling of 2 is very different, and so on and so forth. But the core of it is very, very similar for at least 5 of the 6. So as soon as one rando happens, the other ones won't be too far behind, but it'll be a bit before they get really worked out.
I can't remember if the Pixel Remaster for Final Fantasy V, if that was out, if I used it for the last Fiesta. This might be the first Fiesta I get to use that, so that'll be fun.
If you use the PC version, I believe it was definitely around if you were using the PC version. The Switch version just happened not too terribly long ago, so I don't believe the Switch version made the Pixel Remaster for the last go-round. For this go-round, yes, definitely.
Yeah, I think it was the PC. I might have done it on the Super Nintendo like I usually do, but
the original version, yeah. A lot of people like to use the Game Boy Advanced version for Final Fantasy V because it has additional classes, which is really neat, and it has some other twisted mechanics, things that are a little bit different that makes the 4-job Fiesta a little bit more feasible. What those specifically are, I mean, I couldn't tell you, but I know there are some major differences. But I personally am using the Switch version of the Pixel Remaster because I'm a scrub and I like having the boosts and I don't have time to spend 40 hours grinding. Although, but no, one of the things about the Pixel Remasters on the Switch and I believe PS5, I believe is the other one it came out on, is you have access to something called boosts, which just means you get anywhere from no experience boost, which is 0%, you get nothing, to 0.5, 1, 2, or 4 times the amount. And you can change that up for not just the experience you get, but for the money, and in the case of Final Fantasy V, the ability points. So,
I didn't know they had that.
Yeah. So if you're playing the Pixel Remaster for 4-job Fiesta or at all, you can turn on the boost and take your grinding time from 4 hours to 1 hour. Obviously, you would do a lot more for Final Fantasy V, but did somebody mod it in the PC version? I believe so. It will eventually be a part of the PC version. Square Enix has said that they will be putting it in there eventually. It's been a while since they said that, but it will be in there eventually. But there is a mod that you could use that basically implements something similar if you want to do that on the PC version. And I will say this in regards to 4-job Fiesta, the boost does... I mean, having never actually run the Fiesta before this last one, I just did last week. Even playing through it with the boosts, I really do get the feeling that the boost really takes away from the challenge. Because usually with the challenge of the Fiesta is getting through the game as quickly as possible using only the classes that are given to you. But with the boosts, it makes almost any class more feasible because you've leveled it up faster. So you're bypassing a lot of the traditional challenge of getting through the game quickly, like getting to the final boss at level 40-ish, which is pretty typical. Instead, I get there like level 60 because I have that much more grinding because of the boosting, so on and so forth. It does take away a little bit of the spirit of the Fiesta, but as long as you stick by all of the rules of it, the boost is fine. It's not against any kind of rule to do it. It's just... it removes some of the challenge.
The thing I like about the Pixel Remaster is just the auto battle. That's my favorite part.
That is the other part of it. That makes it so much better too. Auto battle not only allows you to reuse the last move the character used as long as they have the mana or whatever to use it, but it also boosts battle speed up significantly, which is stunning. Quit playing 3 because I changed jobs and I didn't want to have to grind. Again, I get that. 3 and 5 are very similar when it comes to the jobs and the job changing. If you want to use a different job, you've got to grind it up. With the boosting, I don't think 3 would be that much more challenging. It wouldn't be that bad to change characters. The same thing with 5, with both of them. With how Fiesta started, XP boost would have made it faster. I had white to start. Oh, you poor soul. So one of the roughest starts is white mage, because then you have 4 white mages to try to make it through, or 1, depending on how you set your rolls, to make it through, and it's just that's atrocious. The problem is with 5, 4, 3. Final Fantasy 3 and 5. The way the game expects you to play, they expect you to change your classes on occasion. Doesn't mean you have to, but the expectation is there. So
they made it a little bit easier to switch between classes in 5, though.
Yeah.
Where 3, like,
also
those classes are useless until you get them a bunch of levels. Whereas 5, you can still kind of, you know.
But yeah, one of the big stepping back to 3, I actually played through 1 through 4, 100%ed all 4 of them. I nearly 100%ed 5, but I moved to the Switch version, so that those achievements, blah blah blah. But one thing they did in the Pixel Remaster of 3 is there's a summoning sickness that happens. So when you change to a different class, you have to wait a certain amount of battles or points before you could switch back to another character or class. There's no summoning sickness in this one. You could just switch pretty much willy-nilly for the most part. You do still have to worry about leveling up said other job, but I believe that particular summoning sickness shenanigans was removed. Because that's one thing that made it difficult, because you might run into a situation where, like in the beginning of the game, you are required to have at least 1 black mage or white mage, and if you didn't have one, you have to switch to it to be able to cast Mini or Toad, which happens a couple times during the game. So you were actually required to do that. Thankfully, there's nothing in 5 that really says, well, to do this, you have to have this. There's only a few cases where it's at that does that, but generally speaking, that's something like closer to the end of the game, like Fork Tower, for those who are familiar. Fork Tower, where you have, on one side, you can only use magic against the boss, or it's a very magic-heavy side, and the other side is a very physical-heavy side. So if you get a group that is all casters, you're probably not going to make it through the right side of that tower very easily. Or if you're all fighters, you might not make it through the magic side as easy. So, Final Fantasy V is less painful when it comes to the job classes. Yeah, you're going to run into some things that are intended for mages. It doesn't mean you're not going to be able to finish it, with the exception of something like Fork Tower. Those who know. If you know, you know.
And like some classes you get, like if you get Summoner, GG. Like your past the end is pretty good.
You get yourself your Summoner, you get your Soldier, you get your Air Knife. Oh.
Like
Blue Mage, the only problem with Blue Mage is knowing what monster has what. Knowing what monster has the spells that you need. Because, funny enough, a lot of bosses, you can use instant death spells as long as you've learned it, and as long as you know which ones can be hit with it. Blue Mage requires a lot more intimate game knowledge to be able to run. It's not difficult, it's just you have to know the game a lot more to use that particular class. So that's really what's fun about the 4-job Fiestas. You never know what you're going to get selected unless you purposely say, I want all magic classes or all physical classes, or give me anything. Good luck to you. You could end up with 4 Berserkers. And if that happens, may the heavens have mercy upon you, because you are grinding to level 92 at minimum to be able to beat the game, give or take. Yeah, Final Fantasy V is exploit the RPG. That is literally about it. Whatever you get, you have to know how to use it to exploit the game. Exactly. The only thing you don't want is 4 Berserkers, because if that's what you end up with, Quad Zerker, yeah, blame ever hate. Yeah.
Rest in peace.
The problem with 4 Zerkers is because you cannot heal them in battle. You cannot tell them what target to hit or not hit. You literally just go, have fun! And because of that, they have to be able to out DPS the target. And that is the only thing you can do, is just out DPS. No other choice. You have to hope you have enough health, you have to hope you have enough damage, you have to hope you just don't run into something that's going to be like, yeah, no, you're not killing this. And that's it. Quad Circuit is possible, but you are going to be grinding far more than any other set than you ever have with in the game, period. But I don't know, we keep talking about the 4-job Fiesta stuff, but it's going on right now, and I'm mid my second run for the season. My first run I did last week was the first one I ever did for it, and that was a lot of fun. I got really lucky with the group that I got. I got the Mystic Knight and the Bard, and if you've got Mystic Knight and Bard, you can do pretty much anything. I actually did take down Omega with Barding and Spell Sword. That's all you need. Solid. Shinryu, on the other hand, was a bit more challenging, but it managed. Again, one of those if you know, you know. Again, I do apologize going off on everything but Mario RPG at the moment. We're over here talking about Final Fantasy and other randomizers, and meanwhile I got people on the screen trying to do their bestest to get through a game.
Hey.
Keeping the conversation going.
You know it.
If you know, you know. Exactly. Alright, as soon as we can see where progress is here, we'll try to update things a little bit on the screen for as far as placement. At the moment, I think things are still kind of solid where they're at. Again, it looks like another situation. All 4 runners are in 4 completely different locations.
Come on, man.
Alright, you better give me something.
Oh boy.
Hey.
Nice, brother. Oh, what?
Nice number, by the way. The health for a moment.
Thank you.
Nice.
Oh, stop it, game. Nobody likes a show off. Wait. I blocked that, you liar. Are you kidding me?
You are skirting some edges there, sir. Talk about Ant.
That's fine.
You are very skirting some edges there, sir. I don't know how the game goes or how the game works, but I can definitely tell what those health numbers look like.
It's not pretty. Oh,
If that
no.
boss keeps doing what it's doing, then yeah, it's not pretty.
Oh my god. Oh no.
You got
Oh
this.
my-
Maybe not. Maybe not. Holy crap.
Oh!
Holy crap, those numbers.
Something's gotta give here, man.
Sooner or later.
Just stop. Oh my god, why? Oh, that's it.
Aww.
There it is. Crying.
That was close.
Why is James crying?
Because they just got dunked on.
Yeah.
You know what? We're going to do this instead. We're going to take 10 minutes for station identification. And yes, 10 minutes.
There's a station identification. Thank you everybody for joining in today on Retro Gaming Live TV for your home for Retro Gaming Live entertainment. And today on Random Monday we are playing Super Mario RPG. The four runners you have on screen: Desert Eagle 417, Concakes, OJ Machine, and Anthole. On the mics we have Anthole and Concakes, as well as myself, Weapon, who is a scrub at this game because I've never played it before. But hey, you know, there's a time for everybody. Anyways, we have some placement-ish going on the screen here. I believe first and second might be swapping place here just a little bit here. I need to see where the values are to kind of let you know where things are. Yes, I will actually say that is definitely a swap there. So let me do a little super swap there.
No, I swapped it out.
Yeah, somebody got swapped over.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. It's funny because two of you are at one boss and the other two are at a different boss, and pretty much at the same time. So it's kind of fun. It's kind of funny. I love how that happens every once in a while with a randomizer. Sometimes you get a wild divergence in a game large enough like this that it's not often everybody winds up on the same boss during a run, and other times where it just completely converges because that's where everybody just has to go, one way or the other.
Bullshit.
I know, right? Gosh.
Not you.
Timing!
Is this gonna work? That's not gonna work. Oh, it did work.
I will say, though, generally speaking, even though you all have... I'm not going to say the exact things here, but you all have different values going on. The levels on everybody is about the same, which is interesting.
Huh.
So even though everybody has a fairly different divergence in pathing here, your levels are all fairly similar.
Interesting. No.
No. Oh.
None of them are learning what I need them to learn, and it's making me very, very angry. None of those are gonna help. Oh, I want that though. Wait, is that... No, that's the weapon. Never mind. Oh, the password's got something to do with the C's. Look away, Weapon.
What?
You don't want to be spoiled on the password.
I mean, that might already have happened. Or may not have. I don't know. What password?
To get through the first
part that
of
room.
The ship.
Okay.
Don't look.
Don't look. If you don't want to spoil everybody, don't look at Ant's screen. Just kind of cover that little quarter there.
They should make the password randomized, and you have to figure it out.
I mean, it makes sense.
Like, come on. What are we, 8-year-olds here? Can't give us a random password. Can't make us do 6 rooms that are useless.
Well, if we know who who made the randomizer, maybe we can tell them to say, "Hey, we need a new randomized word here."
I feel like that's a flag everyone would turn off.
Screw have to learn a new password.
Would you turn it off, Colin?
I think they should just turn that room off. Like you just walk through to the next room.
It's like, you know the password for... never mind.
Like, if I have to put a password in, make it different, make it fun. But if I don't, and it's going to be the same thing, then just give it. Open the door.
Not just a new password, make it all random letters. Again, back to Ant's original point, people would just shut it off.
Holy hell, man. These enemies, they're not joking. They're not.
Wow, you fucking idiot. Excuse me?
Today's password brought to you by...
Oh, just die.
Man, it's only double EXP in casual. I always do triple because I want to level up real fast.
Oh, is that what happened? You picked the wrong egg?
No, I mean like just your experience points is like normally the seeds I make you get triple experience points.
Oh.
But in this you only get double.
I wondered why we were going through leveling a little slower than you and I normally do.
Yeah.
Today's flag's brought to you by
Cone cakes.
Now, honestly, like
When
I
in
said,
doubt.
yeah, the dog agrees. No, I do apologize for not looking a little bit deeper into the flags. I assumed the basic ones were okay. Kong did get a few of these changed up for us, but again, it's all good.
You're good,
We'll
man.
get there when we get
Oh
there.
yeah, these flags are good. I was like, oh man, I need that super fast level up because I'm a scrub.
Colin wants to fly through the game. He likes to win, is what it really comes down
I wanna fly like an eagle.
Damn it, Kong! I was gonna do that.
to.
It literally was on my tongue. I was trying to mold it. It's like fly like a Koopa to the sea. Dang it, Kong! You took it from me. You took it.
On the Milky Way.
Yeah. That's no good. What you got that in there for? You can go to jail before you die.
Sorry.
You should be. Oh, I didn't want to. Let's see if this works.
My dog's like, I know what time it is.
Mm.
It's treat time.
Oh snap!
Oh snap! One pepperoni.
What's the treat?
Two
Pepperoni?
Oh. There you go. Nah. He's a good boy. We got him not too long ago when our previous pup passed, very unexpectedly. About a month after she passed, we got him, who is the most adorable 85-pound dog.
Ooh, that's a big dog.
He's a big boy. He's about 4 times the size of the previous one.
Oof.
It wasn't originally our choice necessarily to pick a dog this size, but he loves people and loves chasing everything else.
Oh, that's
He's a good
very
boy.
sweet.
The one cool thing about him, this dog, is he doesn't get into things, which is great. And he does have a penchant for tearing things apart, but only if you give it to him. He will only tear apart things you actually hand him. Like, he drools about tearing apart cardboard, or, you know those drink carriers you get from, like, McDonald's, the cardboard ones? Oh, he goes stupid when those things are in the house. I mean, if it's...
One of our dogs used to tear those apart, too.
Oh, he loves tearing those things apart. And it's like, if I bring it in the house, he's like, I don't care about the food in the bag. I want the holder. I want the holder. He will actually drool about tearing it apart. He gets that excited. And now he's drooling over the little granola bar I've got in my hand. He's like, yeah, I gave you pepperoni. Go away. There you go. He hangs around because he knows I give in. I'm just sitting here drooling.
Come on.
Yeah, he's a big boy.
So how many bosses would you say there are, Kong?
One less?
Probably a lot.
Alright. That deep analysis brought to you by whatever brand granola bar weapons eating.
Today's boss analysis is brought to you by Nature Valley. Note, we are not sponsored by Nature Valley, although we wouldn't mind.
Hit us up.
I love having people try to go for some of those. Like they was like, I would love to be sponsored by Coca-Cola. Yeah, wouldn't we all?
No, right?
Right? Hey, stop fussing. Stop fussing. I gave you pepperoni. Although giving your size, I probably should have given you two. Yeah, he goes through a lot more than the previous dog did, for sure. The other one we bought like little 10-pound bag, lasts like 2-3 weeks. Him we buy the 50-pound bag, lasts 2-3 weeks. That's not that big. It's big enough though.
For sure.
You could-
We have two little, less than 15-pound dogs, and I'm still like, hey, chill out. Although we got a really good deal on bagged dog food, so the next time we get a deal, because we got it through Chewy,
There you
sponsor us.
go. Today's stream is not sponsored by.
Anything. But we ended up getting like almost 100 pounds of dog food for like $10.
Wow.
So next time we get that, I'll let you both know.
Sure
Because
enough.
now Kong has a dog too.
He's a good boy. Yeah, we got him because well, short version is the people who had him couldn't keep him. Was the super short version, and they didn't want to give him up at all. And after we got him, we're like, we understand why you didn't want to get rid of him. We don't want to give him back. They haven't asked, but
Yeah, it would be awkward if they did.
I mean, if they do,
Okay.
I can't say no because it was their pup to begin with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, please don't ask. You ain't getting him.
Right?
That's
You may
actually
visit him one weekend every summer.
right. Exactly. Actually, that was sort of the story of our. That's almost identically the story of the second dog, and our first dog is not far off. Our first dog was a foster. We decided to foster dogs for a while, and we got a bunch of different ones. We had the beagle that peed on everything. We had the shepherd that almost sent me into the hospital.
Oh my god.
Allergies. Yeah, I was nearly in the hospital after one night having the dog in the house from allergies to his dander. It was so bad. I've never had that happen with an animal. And then this thing is in our house, sits down, and a coat of hair just goes woof, off of its body. It was no wonder I was almost in the hospital. And then we got our first dog, Champ, which my emote, for those who have seen Weapon Hay, my
Oh
emote,
yeah.
that's actually a picture of my dog's face that Bald Nate kindly put a thing on. I'm sorry, renamed now, right? I'm sorry.
Yes, winter
Yes.
remix.
Winter Mix renamed. Put those little glasses on for me.
That's adorable.
But yeah, he was an awesome dog too. But he was a lot more of a, I'll cuddle and hug when I want to, but if I'm not happy, if I'm not in a good situation, don't touch me. He was one of those kind of dogs. The second dog was, I'm not leaving your leg. She's like, she didn't go anywhere I didn't go. And this one, he's like, I'll bark at everything. Does that work? So if you hear growling every once in a while, that's him. He loves people. He wouldn't hurt a person at all. So he could be breaking in and he probably just like, pet me. But he doesn't sound like that. He sounds like, I'm going to rip you to shreds. He'll sound like that to me sometimes. He'll just...
Yeah.
But no.
Our dogs, when there's new people, they get very nervous, but the second they warm up to you, they're just the sweetest animals.
Yeah. Outside of the house, he will snarl at you like nothing. Inside the house, pet me. Yeah, he's something. He's staring.
What's Jabeni like, Kong?
Huge pain in my butt.
Aren't they all? Continue.
No, he's a good boy. He's super needy, which is a little hard for me, but you know, I do my best. always a little bit worse when I take my mom back home because then there's no one extra here to give him attention. Sometimes it's just a little overwhelming when he wants to be on top of me 100 hours a day. But he's pretty good. He's almost catching a frisbee now.
Aww.
He's almost figuring that out. He stopped letting it just hit him in the face. So that was good. I was like, all right, that's a good start.
That was my second dog. It could slap her in the face, but she'd just be like, what?
Yeah, like I'm like doing this. I'm like, Benny, let's go. And then like he finally started opening his mouth to try and catch it. I was like, oh wow, like I figured out it's a lot more fun if it's not just hitting you in the face. Oh yeah, you came over here. You heard your name, didn't you?
Well, if you get hit in the face enough times, sooner or later you figure you might dodge it, or you have enough brain damage you have no clue what to do. Yeah, this dog has his own issues when it comes to fetching things. He understands 100% the concept of going to the object, catching it, or running around with it. He has no concept of bringing it back. So you'll like chuck something, he'll go get it, he'll grab it, he'll turn around and look at you, and then just drop it. I'm like, you're supposed to bring it back. He's like, nah, I'll just put it right here, and then he'll go do something else. It's one of those adorable little qualities of him, but it is a pain in the backside. It's like, go get it, bring it back. He'll get it and then just drop it. It's like, what am I supposed to do now?
Walking around, picking up the ball, throwing it, you're playing catch with yourself at that point.
Sometimes he do. Like I said, those two hamsters in his head, they work really hard.
Gotta turn that wheel.
You gotta turn that wheel. Yeah, this is one of the fun little observations I like to make. As an example, if an average dog has 10 hamster wheels in their head, he's got 2, but it's a hardworking 2. They try. The previous one, I had a long-haired Doxy was my second dog here, and she had 15 hamsters in her head. She was brilliant, except 14 of those 15 hamsters were purely focused on food. That dog actually got a nickname because of that. Specific to that, when we got her, we brought her to our friend's house immediately because they had a bunch of the same kinds of Doxies, and their house is fairly dog-proof, and their dogs actually knew that dog. So when we went over, the very first thing this dog didn't sniff the other dogs, didn't sniff the other humans, walked straight, I kid you not, to the kitchen, which we watched her. She wasn't doing anything, but that's where she went. We stepped out of the room for a moment. Came back, she was eating raw potatoes.
Oh no.
Thus adopted the name Potato. Because that is the very first thing she did when we got her, was go to the kitchen and found a bag of raw potatoes. I'm like, oh, why even? I mean, I get a dog liking French fries you toss at him, but raw potato? Kind of gross.
Likes raw potato.
The dog didn't care. That was like, it's food. I don't care. It's mine. She was something. She was something. Game Face says this.
The neighbor kids had like a little kiddie pool, you know?
Oh boy.
And one summer they were sitting in the kiddie pool out in the front yard, chomping on raw potatoes.
All right.
The kids?
Yeah.
Raw?
I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it for dang sure. But
are you sure you didn't see this or something?
I doubt it.
No, they offered me some and I said no, thank you. It's gross.
Kids, this goes to show you, please cook your potatoes.
Cook the potatoes.
It doesn't have to be fried. It can be oven baked. It's fine. Just don't eat them raw, please.
Chomping on them like apples, man. Sitting in a little kiddie pool in the front yards.
Maybe they're trying to raise the water temperature to boil the potato, you know?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Ma, this water ain't hot enough. Bring out the potatoes.
Myself,
Oh,
that's gross.
that's gross.
Not my favorite memory, but there it is.
So say they were the kind of family instead of bobbing for apples, they bobbed for potatoes. Do potatoes float? I don't know.
Horrible.
I know they do when they're hauled, but I don't know. Whatever.
Caramel candied fucking potatoes.
Candied
Raw
potatoes?
Potato caramel.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Now step back. Candied potatoes. Come back to this. I'm curious now, but maybe not that curious.
I just got nuked.
Wow.
You probably need to go out. Oh God.
Hey, I'm keeping a loose eye on mine. He might need to bail out here in a minute too. He's like, you've been chit-chatting for an hour or two. You need to take me out now. Yeah, I think at this point a lot of us are waiting for the remake game face. I mean, it's obviously fairly exciting. They're finally re-releasing it. They're giving it the upgrade treatment. Square Enix has been doing that for a lot of their properties, which is really cool. Which it's one of the odd little things for this particular one being both a Nintendo and a Square Enix property is it's nice to see them finally able to at least stop butting heads for a few minutes. To give us the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters on Switch, and then of course give us this one, because I guarantee you there was some hard-fought battles to make that happen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Square and Nintendo have not had the most pleasant of relationships since Final Fantasy VII the Final Fantasy VII situation. I think that's about when that really kind of broke ties there. Because since then we've barely had anything Square Enix hit Nintendo that wasn't, whatever. But
Yeah.
still, cool to see. Cool to see. And it's even more interesting for me, like I was saying earlier, since I've not actually played through this game before,
Oh my gosh.
which is, for somebody who's played a fair amount of video games, it's odd that I've not come across this one, especially being as fan of Final Fantasy as I am. But here we are.
Hey, Ant.
Uh-oh.
If you were to rate this game between 1 and 6, what would you rate it?
I'd be feeling a 4 right now.
Ah, okay.
How about you?
I think it's a little better than that. I'd probably get a 5 out of 6.
All right. I
Meanwhile,
might
kids
give it
on
a
the
5
side.
out of 6 in just a few moments.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, the
We'll
kids on the
see.
side of the street are going, "What are they talking about?" If you know, you know.
Oh my god. Quit nuking Mario. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with the regular one?
You got Mario at home.
We got Mario at home.
That's Mario.
You got Mario at home. Mario at home is some monkey with a red hat on, banging some cymbals. SMRPG remake up there. It'll not. SMRPG remake is up there in the. It'll never happen alongside the old jokes of Cloud and Smash, and the ultimate in will never happen was Sora is in there. Yeah, all the extra characters going into Smash is like Cloud going in there, Sora going. It's like, hang on a second, things are happening here. I guess SMRPG wasn't necessarily that far out of the question. Far enough, but.
Oh my fuck. No. Okay. Shut up. No, the point is.
Oh, that's right. That makes sense.
I hate that version.
I hate banana.
Oh, oh, oh. Oh.
Number 1 idiot man.
And again, for those watching, I'm trying to do my best to keep everybody on screen in the ranking order based off of how many stars they have. I haven't seen 2 of the racers' stars here in a few minutes.
I'll be good. I appreciate it.
Did you just turn him down?
Mo, my brother was asking me if I wanted a sandwich,
What kind of sandwich?
meatball sandwich.
Oh.
The time
Is he
send one
making
my
them or is he
way.
getting them? Yeah.
I mean, it might be halfway
No, we
across
made
the
a bunch
country,
of-
but
Made a bunch of meatballs last night, so
oh, nice.
we went and bought some bread earlier. Puts to make a meatball sub on, so.
Tasty.
There you go.
Why is friggin' Mario's health so low? Oh no, I'm a dumb. Oh god. No, that's the wrong thing to do. That's fine. That's
And for those curious, if they're wondering why on some screens you're seeing one character multiplied by a couple or the random coloration of things happening, part of the way this particular randomizer works is whenever a character uses an ability or equip that belongs to another character, the character's sprite will change to that character. Like you see Mario switching to Princess Peach is most likely because that character has is the Mario character, but it has a princess item on it, so it switches over when that character gets hit. Or it is Princess, but when they use the attack, it switches back to Mario because the weapon equipped is Mario's weapon. So that kind of explains that. It took a minute for me to get, but
we got there.
we got there.
And we appreciate it.
I just bet 67 experience points on the game and lost.
Oh no.
Ouch.
Why would you do that, buddy?
Why would I do it? How could this happen to me?
How could
You
this
made your
happen to
mistakes.
me? I made my mistakes.
But the game goes on.
Is not to earn. Oh boy. You guys remember that one? ToEarn.com? Still out there.
No.
Still there.
Hmm.
Just was looking at the
Also
other
about
day.
a decade old, if not more.
Oh yeah.
Alright, got that. Where's the other bosses now? There.
Alright. So that's that one. Good to see that one finally. Still there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Is it not in this room? Other ones.
Okay. Still good.
Hmm. Let's try it one more time, I guess.
So again, I want to say to everybody that's joined us this evening, we appreciate you joining us for our Rando Monday and playing on this very special edition of Rando Monday. Rando Money, yeah, I'll get some of that too. Rando, I'll take it. Got Super Mario RPG Randomizer. We got the 4 racers on screen there. Con Cakes, Anthole, Desert Eagle 417, and OJ Machine. And of course, in the booth here for commentary as well as flavor comments, we have Anthole and Con Cakes, who are 2 of the racers that are also on the screen. And then you got Me Weapon, who is just sitting along here and enjoying the camaraderie here and the occasional off comment for funsies. So there you go. So trying to think what we want to do for next week. Since we're about there, I think we had a suggestion there a couple of times that sounded like it might have been a good one. It might not be the best one, but it's a good one, I think.
Well, Weapon, if you would like, you could use our handy-dandy, patent-pending quad-action raffle wheel to decide now.
Oh, daggum.
And I could hook you up with that.
Oh, daggum. I keep forgetting about the raffle wheel. Well, wait, have I seen the raffle wheel before? Wait.
Not the new version.
Not the new one. Well, shoot. I done reckon I better go see this at some point here.
Well, let me link you while I'm fighting a shark.
All right. I'm fighting the thing, a shark. Spoilers.
Spoilers, I know.
Well, I got a good idea for next week, but we could use a raffle machine for.
Oh, come on! I got one shot.
And if y'all in chat, if there's a particular randomizer that you would love to see on the screen next Rando Monday, which again, because it's the first Monday, I believe it'll be a little bit later start as well, just because the first Monday of the month always starts a little bit later because of obligations. We'll go ahead and do that. But yeah, if there's a randomizer you want to see, by all means, let us know. Join the Discord, ! Discord. And there is a channel specifically dedicated to Random Monday. And like I said, if there is particular randomizers you want to see, please, by all means, jump in chat here or jump in chat there and let us know that you want to see it. If you are familiar with it enough to feel you want to do some commentary, in the case that those who are here that are not as familiar with it, please, by all means, we'd love to potentially have you featured up on the screen here to talk about it, like our good friends Anthole and Concakes over here, who are, you know, more than just good friends. Of course, they've been around here for a little bit, you know, just a little bit.
We've done our share of RGL related things.
Just a few things. Let's see. Hopefully I'm not breaking things. Nice. So yeah, if you have a game that you want to see, you can even type it now, and we'll add it to our list, and you'll be able to see it. Let's see. Cool. I will have to work with that one a little bit.
Yeah. Any questions you got, you can hit me up, of course.
Of course. And no one can talk to a horse, of course, unless that horse is Mr. Ed or you're just crazy. One way or the other.
I'm standing there waiting for him to water a plant that's already up. Sorry, that's a spoiler, I know. Just watching him water a plant that's already bugging out.
Nice.
What a good use of my time.
I will have to.
And that link will forever be the one for Rando Monday.
It has been written, and so it will be done. We can make this interesting.
I almost did it again, because I'm a genius man. Why? Why you
Maggot.
gotta be a thing?
B-Mac Attack in chat's requesting somebody provide a rendition of Peaches.
Of Peaches?
Peaches.
Oh,
Millions of peaches.
that's the one I
Well, I mean, that one works, but I don't think that's what they were expecting. Those of
That's
us who've
what
been
you
around a few minutes longer, if you know, you know.
Peaches come from a can. They were put there by a man
Where?
in a factory downtown.
This is important information.
If I had my little way, I'd eat peaches every day.
There you go.
I fucking love
Wish,
that song.
wish fulfilled there, B-Mac. Wish fulfilled.
It's like a monkey's paw for song request.
I mean, exactly. You got what you asked for, if maybe it wasn't what you expected. You got a song. That's good. It's cursed. That's bad. It matched what you asked for. That's good. It comes with free yogurt. That's good. It's cursed. That's bad.
Now I want to open a karaoke bar called Monkey's Paw. So all the songs are listed as one thing, but it's actually a different
Completely
song.
different of the song. You know, and people would still probably be cool with it. It's like a
Don't steal my
randomizer,
idea.
except you know exactly what you're gonna get. It's exactly what you don't expect.
No, don't fight! Okay, it's just one guy. We kicked its ass. Take that, you little gecko nerd. No one likes you, you mother.
Nerds!
Gecko nerd. Point, point, point.
Sorry to get so filthy here on RGL TV. But things had to be done. How good they don't offer me.
Excuse me.
I was about to be very upset. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, whatever.
So cheeky. He's like, ugh.
I was like, yeah, whatever.
Then I saw Officer Leroy. He's like, hey, I thought I told you. Oh fuck, Dream Cushion. Oh my god, Toad's bouncing on Mario. Yeah. I'm really a ghost.
Oh no. Wait, no. What is this?
Yeah, B-Mac. We've seen enough movies and whatnot that has that kind of stuff. What was the movie series? I believe it was Wishmaster. If you want some twisted horror movie, that's some stuff. Basically, on that idea, if you guys have never seen the movie Wishmaster, it's basically this really horrible, evil genie in a bottle kind of thing, and any wish you make comes true, but usually in the worst possible way. Those are some twisted movies. There's like 2 or 3 of them at least. Some stuff right there.
Oh man. Fuck man, I gotta find this dang boss.
So, Kong and Anhole, what game, if we played on here, would you like to see for randomizers? That may or may not have already been on here. It's fine. either case. I'd like to see you roll through the screen again.
I mean, I'd like to see people play through Ninja Turtle Randomizer, other than Gavik and I. That'd be fun.
I hear you. It's a rough one for sure for those who've not played it before, but it's still a rando, still there.
Yeah.
Oh, Rangers.
I feel like I'm missing something here and it's really bugging me.
What about you, Kong? Anyone that you're... I know you're kind of focused there on what you were doing, but anyone that you'd like to see on screen again? Or one that maybe that hasn't, either way.
I like the Aria of Sorrow one.
Right on.
I haven't played that as much as I would like, but that one's fun.
Someone in here has played that one a few times.
The best is when you get the Black Panther soul at like the very start.
Yeah, either actually that works for almost all the Metroidvania ones that offer it, but getting Black Panther early is amazing. Usually you can kind of fix the seed to do that, but it depends. Sometimes even if you fix it, it's still not as early as you hope.
Does Circle of the Moon have one? A rando?
Oh yeah, no. All of the Game Boy Advance ones have a rando. All the DS-Vanias have a rando. Actually, what's cool about the DS-Vania ones, it's one tool that works for all three games. I'm not as familiar with either Circle or Harmony for those randos. I know they're there. I know they're out there. They're good. For me, though, those are more traditional styled Castlevania games, whip and go kind of games. They're a bit more difficult, but they're both very good. But a little more difficult. I don't run those personally. Of the CV randos, I do run Aria and Dawn, and I do also, on occasion, play through Portrait and Order for those. Though I usually personally spend more time on the Sorrow games. But they're all very good. All of the DS-Vania ones are awesome. The only problem with the DS-Vania is why you haven't seen me suggest either Portrait or Order is because they are vastly longer. Even if you put it on lighter or less portraits or lighter requirements, they're still much longer playthroughs, even as a randomizer. You can get them down pretty good times, but you have to spend some decent time and get kind of lucky to get them under a certain amount of time. It's not to say that we won't have randomizers on Random Monday that happen to be longer than normal. Generally speaking, we've been trying to keep the the to something in the degree of no more than 3 hours. Somewhere between 1 to 3 hours is usually a good target. It's not saying we can't go longer. So I can't say we can't go shorter. I've had a couple of weeks where the seed went short enough that we ran 2 in an evening. So it just depends on what gets run, what gets requested.
Oh my god.
Also, hello, Absolute Aaron. How you doing? Manic Ascendant rated with a viewer counterfight. Thank you for rating, Manic. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing swell. Welcome to Random Monday with Retro Gaming Live TV. Oh hey, we have a certain thing happening on screen right now. One of our runners is doing a certain ride. That seems kind of fun. Uh-oh. Mode 7. Gotta love that Mode 7. They aptly named Mode 7 because I don't think they ever truly named it something else, but Mode 7 just clicked, so there it is. Featured in several games, such as Castlevania 4 as well, in multiple places. Which I will also add does have a randomizer, but it's less traditional just because it's just shuffling the levels around.
Yeah.
I think it also shuffles what's in candles as well, but I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is. It's a fun game, believe me. And I will always stand by Castlevania 4. And this may or may not be a hot take, depending on who's listening. But Castlevania 4 will always be my #1 best game on Super Nintendo. Best sound, best visual, best control. Even in regards of me earlier saying, I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan. I usually count those in top 5 every time. But I will almost always say Castlevania 4 is #1, somewhere between #1 and #3 at the lowest. Just because, in my opinion, it's by far one of the best made games on the console. Again, hot take for some people, but that is, I mean, without a doubt, one of the best games. Now, it's not one of the easiest games by any means, but it doesn't necessarily have to be.
Right.
But it's still a phenomenal game. If you've never played it before, you guys should check it out. There's plenty of Konami collections out there and other methods of getting the cartridge, so definitely check it out. One of these days, maybe we'll get the CV4 randomizer on here. I mean, it's just basically playing through CV4, but... There's also Castlevania 2, for those more adventurous. Maybe not.
I never played Castlevania 2.
Well, that's probably for the better in some cases. People give Castlevania 2 a lot of crap, but it was very, very, very unique and very well done for what it was. The problem is, translation and actual tips about what you're supposed to do were so bad. Honestly,
Right.
Without Nintendo Power, I'd be surprised anybody really truly beat that game without simply guessing at multiple places. But it's still a great game. It was the first instance of us having, well, aside Metroid, literally Metroid, we had a Metroidvania. It was the birth of that combination of things. So it did it. It didn't necessarily do it the best, but then again, that's just, comes with time and how many different games you've released over time. You learn, you move on, you update, you try something different. Still a fantastic game. It's just a little harder to understand without having a guide. I'm like, who's supposed to know that you're supposed to have a very specific crystal, go to a very specific wall, touch your knees for half an hour? Who's supposed to know you're supposed to do that? Or you get hints from people like, let's live here. Literally, an NPC just says, let's live here. What do you do with that? Honestly. Sure, I'm just gonna put down my controller, shut off the console, and walk away. I mean, that's the best thing we can do. But stay living.
Yeah, four boss locations left.
Wow.
There you go.
Sheesh.
Oh my god, why? I hate this fight so much.
But yeah, weapons full.
What? Oh my god, what is...
You got this. We believe.
I'm just gonna have to come back, and I know it's gonna be one of them.
Boing, boing, boing.
I don't want to come back.
Screw you guys, I'm going home. Wait,
Yes.
I'm already home. Dang it.
Go to double home.
Go to double home. Those are expensive. You gotta be careful about that.
Alright. Let's go try this. There's a couple of opportunities here.
Now, is it just me, and I'm not trying to make fun of anybody or give hints, but does that boss look like a toilet to you? I don't know why. It just looks like that boss just looks like a toilet to me. Huh. Weird. Oh. I'm sorry. Okay, things are dead.
Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Ah!
That coming after the comment, does that look like a toilet to you? Not awkward at all.
A little troublesome comment.
But no, seriously, guys, I really do appreciate you guys jumping in. I know you guys pulling it along too, but I appreciate you guys jumping in comms on this one. For sure, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Happy to. No matter what comms it is.
All right.
A little giggle. Oh,
Comedian. Oh, I like comedians. How about I book you on a tour?
Do I want to do this, Colin?
What are you doing?
I'm gonna try. I just saved. What the heck? It was a mistake.
Uh-oh.
Or was it a mistake?
Oh my God, it was a mistake.
Mm-hmm. What?
All right.
Oh, I know why. Oh,
Why, man? Yo, I want a fucking meatball sub.
why didn't you have to make you one?
Go make one.
Because I couldn't eat it anyways.
Why?
Couldn't you?
Nah, meatball sub is not controller food. Come on now.
You cut it into pieces.
This is your
Cut
last
you into
resort.
pieces.
All right.
We took that very different ways. I cut it into pieces. This is my
Why
last
is this
resort.
guy a little loser? If it weren't for the thing that he has, I wouldn't want to use him. Because he's a little loser.
Cook.
I'm over it. Can't do this right now. Remember earlier I was like, I'm skipping everything and I'm gonna regret it.
Did you skip a bunch of stuff?
Well, I mean, I didn't fight a lot of fights. Except the required ones, and I'm weak.
Yeah. You gonna be weak.
And I don't know about you, but I haven't found much in the way of pick-me-ups.
Oh, like the item pick-me-ups?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to buy them.
I couldn't even find a shop that sold them.
Kind of exciting stuff going on screen right now for those who are watching. There's something very special that's happening right now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-huh. Some sync going on right now between
Oh,
a pair of our
snap.
racers. Some very, very,
Snap.
very close sync, if you will.
Is it kitchen sink?
More like oven sync, but close enough.
That's hot.
Yeah. And so are two of our racers.
Kong, were you a fan of the Paris Hilton?
One night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night. We're out of here. Click. Wah, 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 wah.
I couldn't help it.
Oh, you coulda.
Yeah,
I
you coulda.
couldn't.
You coulda, buddy.
Come on.
It wouldn't be
Buddy.
a Kong stream without.
You could have said anything else before that.
I didn't make the movie.
Clearly.
I could have been an EP.
So many jokes. Holding them back. You're welcome, buddy.
Withdraw. Withdraw. Verbal violence was chosen. Some people wake up on the left side of the bed. Some people wake up on the right. Some will take the bed with them. And some will chuck the bed out the window.
And some of us just never get out of the bed.
And some of us will just never get out of it.
We're called the depressed.
Now.
Betty, don't like me.
Oh my god.
And then some of us are dog owners and have to get out of the bed because they won't let us not.
Don't make me, though.
And apparently
What's my elbow?
some of us are the bed.
Oh my
There are
god, where the
days.
Feel like
fuck's
it
the
some days.
star?
Can we please? Thank you. Alright. I'm not gonna go in here. No, don't touch, it's hot. Don't do it, Mario. I'm gonna roll the dice on something. Well, I rolled the dice and I can't get it. So, at least it was a short dice roll, eh?
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
Yeah, we're in a little pickle.
That doesn't go there.
Yeah, I have to go there. Alright, we'll go there.
Wait a minute, that doesn't go there. Appropriate place for that skill to be used. That doesn't go there. Not what you hope to hear when you tune into a stream. Possibly not, no. Also, what are those?
You didn't give me nothing. I thought you were supposed to give me something.
Yeah, we definitely have an interesting sync going on the screen at the moment. Won't go into
Oh,
detail,
so
but it's
curious.
definitely very interesting.
I'm so curious.
Yeah, you can watch the stream back then. You can see what's happening here for sure, for sure. I always think it's kind of confusing every once in a while when you have your characters that are using the different abilities that they're just suddenly sharing the same sprite. Like every sprite on the screen is Gino, or every sprite is Princess, or every sprite is Mario.
Oh.
It's like, I didn't realize that there are many of those in the game. There are now. Yeah, it's wild though, the amount of work some people put into some of these randomizers and what you can do with some of them is just stunning. Speaking of stunning,
Oh my god.
Give it to me. Don't make me go to the fucking only boss I have left, please. There's only one boss left in
You
the
know-
game. It's either here or there.
you know, in Soul Blazer, the other randomizer that's popped up here occasionally, we call that Hundo Blazer. It's Hundo Smibberger SMRPG Smurger. Tried. Didn't work.
Mergen Brawl.
Schmergen Brawl. Hundo Schmergen.
Mike Barassi. He got hurt. Sorry, it just wouldn't be me existing for 5 minutes without me talking about Survivor somehow.
We made it like 2 hours, bud.
I know, and then I heard the S sound and had to
Schmergenberg.
fucking bring up Schmergen Brawl. Alright, wish me luck.
Good luck, brother.
And canonically, Mario has turned into Bowser at least twice. Interesting. Once while pantomiming him at the beginning of the game, and once at the end of SM Odyssey. True.
See, that's not good. That's the problem. Well,
Interesting.
oh my god.
Interesting divergence happening in places here. Something has happened that I didn't expect. I thought things were going a particular way, and it appears that is not the case. Maybe they are. I don't know. I wish I was more familiar!
Oh,
I don't understand!
no. Actually, that's not good. Never mind.
No, I didn't want to.
Ooh. I
Okay.
think that just got interesting for that person.
No.
Do they need it?
No, I lost.
And here we go.
When did I go through all this? I don't even remember.
Oh, man.
That's not. Bum bum bum.
Interesting.
Any luck, Colin?
I was trying to get through Smitty 1, but I'm having to heal a lot.
That is pretty good then. GG, buddy.
You're getting there.
Well, between you and I.
Yeah, I don't know where anybody else is, so.
Well, the one little bit I was saying earlier, I'm not going to say persons, but there was a massive synchronization happening between two of the racers for a few moments there, and then I believe something either changed, was collected, or wasn't collected that completely sent a person in a completely different direction. So it's very interesting because I thought that was a lot closer than that was for as far as those two people. Clearly, I missed something somewhere along the line, or they did. Either one, probably both. Thanks for giving us so much information, and yet absolutely fucking nothing. I'm good at that. I'm very good at that, and I know a lot of people doing that too. It's a talent of mine. I mean, I did give you a point of value that two of you were two of the people on screen. I said two of you guys, but two of the people on here were very synced for a few minutes. But I do believe one of the runners has decided to try to do something different. Given the place I work, I have to be very cryptic about some of the things that I do or am a part of. So I'm used to giving information, but not. It's a talent. It's a talent of mine. Not that I want it, but I have it. We'll check on it and let you know later. Code for I have no fucking idea what you're talking about.
Right.
But I'm going to find out because I don't want to sound totally dumb. Are all the stream positions still accurate? Yes. Yes, they are currently. The only thing I haven't seen in a few moments is the bottom right corner. I haven't seen where their last count was, but otherwise the top two are correct and the bottom left is correct as far as I'm aware of. And as far as number 4, there hasn't changed too much.
Oh my god.
So the stream positions are set. Normally when I do a restream like this, positions don't matter, but because I'm not actually playing, I can actually focus a lot closer. And I can see a little bit better what's going on. Of course, there was that Link to the Past race the other night, and I couldn't keep heads or tails because everybody's going literally every direction. Gosh darn it, synchronize just a little bit. No. Oh, jeez. That's a heck of a place for that.
What if you don't have enough?
But what if you don't have enough?
Come on.
I don't know what's going on that screen. What's happening? Link to the Past, we're basically the version that still needs stuff to sync up on the routes of a bit. Yeah, usually with Link to the Past, everyone fairly much will sync at the beginning, depending on what the flag set are. Usually everybody goes roughly the same direction towards Kakariko to begin with, and then from there just kind of goes wherever the heck people... Whatever they find, they'll go from there. But again, it really depends on the flag set, because some flag sets can really, really make things interesting. I personally don't, when I do play, and I haven't played Link to the Past Seed personally in a while. Is Link to the Past most popular? Oh, I'm sure, 100%. I'm fairly certain. Link to the Past would be number 1. Most likely, and most likely number 2 would probably be Super Metroid. Although, I could be convinced Ocarina of Time is probably up in the top 3 as well.
It's definitely gained a lot of
Oh yeah,
popularity the past couple of years.
for the games that have the most traction or the most, I mean, even if I mean, the top 3 or 4, I would say now that you've added that one, top 4 would probably be Link to the Past, Super Metroid, and Zelda 3 combined. I've seen a lot of runners do that, and we'll go top 5, Ocarina and Majora's Mask. And as of recently, Ocarina and Majora's Mask in the same seed. So, although that's very new, those 5 games most likely would take the top 5 positions as most played games. Again, I can't tell you that that's for sure the case, but that's just from personally watching and seeing what people who was running what. Those generally fall in most watched categories, most watched games. SMZ3, yes, SMZ3 is playing Super Metroid and Zelda in the same game playthrough, where you can literally connect to either side of the game by jumping through certain.
Oh!
Uh-oh.
I game over and I'm the boss.
Oh no!
Oh, how far back do I have to go?
Yeah, Ocarina and Majora's Mask. That is actually a very, very, very new thing that somebody's just completed, working on, or at least has been working on. I haven't gotten to see it yet, but I know that's very, very new for like a single-player multi-world, if you will, where one game could influence the other one and vice versa. But yeah, I personally have only attempted the Ocarina of Time randomizer. I've only gotten like the smallest a bit in. Actually, the one that we did was, I remember during one of the marathon events that we did was a multi-world, but it was multiple players in the same world.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was a lot of fun. It was mostly me going, where do you want me to go? Because I'm just going to guess what the heck I'm supposed to do. I honestly, 100%, I had no business doing that, but it was interesting just to see from a perspective of people who know what they're doing to somebody who has zero fucking clue. It was very intimidating. But at the same time, it was a lot of fun. I mean, because I've played Ocarina. I know some things. I don't know any tricks or anything. But yeah, multiple players on the same seed, on the same game, connected to each other was really fun. Because you could literally run into the other players. The only problem is that there were so many shenanigans with, like, if somebody did something and another person didn't, it would break, or somebody would kill something on the screen and the other person didn't, or it would do weird things if you were in the same room for too long. But it was still a lot of fun.
Yeah. That was one of my favorite things we've done.
Yeah, that's probably one of the coolest things I've ever seen. And then, of course, you have all the people with the different character skins running around too, which made even more kind of more fun. So the extra skins.
Yeah.
Another thing that we need to do again, instead of doing a multi-world, we do a one world with multiple players. We need to do that again.
One World, Survivor One World, season 24.
5 minutes are up.
Had to be done.
I had to.
But yeah, randomizers have definitely, and again, this is one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of host or kind of push along Random Monday, because there's just so much good, fun stuff out there to do with the randomizers. And at this point, if there's a game out there that you really enjoy, there's very likely somebody somewhere who's done a randomizer for it. Generally speaking, RPGs or action games like Zelda, pretty much every Zelda game has a randomizer. Just about. I mean, it would be an interesting day when somebody does a randomizer for Faces of Evil or Wanda Gamelon, but that's not going to happen anytime soon, I'm hoping. Please don't. For the love of all that's holy, please don't. For the love that's all that's holy, please do not.
He's asking for it.
He's asking for it. But no, pretty much all of the Zelda games have a randomizer. Almost all of the Metroid games has a randomizer. Nearly all of the Castlevania games have a randomizer. Faces of Evil in and of itself is a randomizer. A randomizer of how long it's going to take for you to give up if you're playing on actual hardware. I tell you what, though, the PC remakes of those, while clearly not the best written content of all time, was very, very entertaining regardless. Was it the best game? Heck no. Was it entertaining? Heck yes. It was incredibly. I played through all 3 of the CDI games, by the way. 2 as
wow.
Yeah, I played through all 3 of them. Faces of Evil and Wand of Gamelon with the remake, the remaster that somebody made. They basically took all of the content in the games and made it playable on PC. Were actually not bad to play through once. They're very entertaining. They may be the most bizarre things on the planet, but they're very entertaining. Zelda's Adventure, on the other hand, I probably spent more time to get a copy of Zelda's Adventure working than I did actually playing Zelda's Adventure. Now, Zelda's Adventure lasts about as long as a playthrough of Zelda 1. So when I tell you that I spent as much time, if not more time, playing through, trying to get it to work than playing it, that is saying something. But I did it. And to be fair, Zelda's Adventure, again, like the other 2 CDI, is not necessarily that it was a bad game. It just definitely wasn't a console that should have had that kind of a game on it.
Sure.
So that was part of my attempt to, and I'm still trying to. I have 3 different playthroughs going on. I've got playing all Final Fantasy games in numbered order for the most part, all Zelda games in order for the most part, and a solid amount of the Wario games in order for the most part. I actually got through all 3 CDI games, which, like I said, they all have their problems, especially if you're using it on a CDI, if you have the opportunity. But they're definitely interesting and unique treasures. Kind of rusty, moldy, but they're still rusty. They're still treasures. Fun fact: there is a randomizer for Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil. Well, they will not be on my list tonight. They will not be on my list this year. Although, if they do exist, I'm gonna probably have to take a look and see exactly what and how they randomize. But somebody, they've got the 2 solid PC remakes of sorts that people have, fan remakes, which it's pretty much identical to the game except you can actually play it. I don't think you can ferry through locked doors, and I couldn't do anything. I bounced off the Z2 randomizer for one reason. I didn't know you could ferry through doors. Well, it's funny you mentioned Z2 randomizer, Zelda 2 randomizer, because I've been mentioning that one a few times tonight too. That is on a list that may appear here shortly. And I gotta say, we've got 2 sets of syncs going on here. Sort of.
Ooh.
Sort of. Generally the same places. Not maybe not the exact same place, but 2 places here. Or the attempt of 2 different places here. Okay, no, the other 2 down on the 2 here we have synced, and the 2 there we have synced. They're doing their thing. They're trying. Everybody's trying where they're at. But yeah, as we were saying earlier, you mentioned Zelda 2 randomizer. If you want to learn how to play a game, sometimes playing the randomizer teaches you more about how to play the game than the actual vanilla game does. And Zelda 2 is one of those games. That is definitely on our list to potentially come onto Random Monday one of these nights. That is a hard yes at some point. Because it's a tough game, but it's a solid game. If you get into it, it's a solid game. Yeah, now that you said it, though, I'm going to have to take a peek one of these days for the Wand of Gamelon and Faces of Evil randomizer. Honestly, I had no idea somebody would be that masochistic to make those. I mean, it's not one of those games you're like, yeah, this needs to be a tradition. I need to play the CDI games once a year, every year. No. Please, for the love of God's holy, don't do that to yourself. Get some help.
Save yourself.
Stop it. Get some help. Now, I will say this. I actually had a tradition for probably about 8 or 9 years in a row of playing the Portal 1 every year around New Year's. That was actually one of my traditions for a while. I kind of stopped doing it, but every year. Portal 1's a
that's a
fantastic
good
game.
tradition. Yeah.
Also, I think Portal probably has a randomizer too. I haven't looked, but I bet it's out there.
Almost seems like it would have to be.
Yeah. There's a Portal 2 randomizer. I'm not necessarily surprised. Well, I think with Portal 2 you can actually create maps, can't you?
I believe so.
So
I haven't played Portal 2, but I seem to remember that being a selling point.
that one's less surprising then. From this site, you can randomize items, NPCs, bosses, and the world unlock locations as an additional mega mix that randomizes NPCs and bosses, which makes things very funny. I'm sure you're talking about the CDI games. I mean, I'll say this. I can definitely see that for Faces of Evil and Wanda Gamelon. I wouldn't see that being necessarily as far departed to do that. Mostly because it's got the same idea as a Zelda game. You still have to have the right item to go into a certain place. You still have to have the right tool to fight the boss or whatever the weakness is. So, I mean, I can see it. It's just the fact of it being the CDI games. Come on. Please don't. Don't hurt yourself. Those games hurt people. Those games hurt people. No. All seriousness, though, those two are very entertaining. And Zelda's Adventure, if you can get it to work, is interesting at the very least. And I wouldn't say it's a good, again, and not also a good Zelda game, but it's an interesting game, if nothing else. I will say this, in the process of trying to get Zelda's Adventure for CDI working, the biggest problem I had is every way I approached it, the best thing I could do was get it running enough so that I could play it and get into places. But if you died, you had to completely close the game out and restart. You don't go back to a save point, nothing. You had to close it back out and restart, which was by far and away the most frustrating thing about trying to get that game to work. However, it never struck me that CDI works in a similar manner to the way that MAME works with arcade machines. Yes, MAME is the way that it would work with Zelda's Adventure. A very specific way. There's actually a Discord out there specifically dedicated to the CDI games. So if you're absolutely intent on playing Zelda's Adventure, like I said, there is a very specific Discord that have really good instructions buried in there to do so. And that's how, after probably about a good 10 hours of trying to get the stupid thing to work, or so, is how I got it to work. Believe me, that was pain right there, that whole process. It's worth trying at least once. For anybody who's into the Zelda games, all the CDI games are worth trying at least once. And interesting in the same way finding a dead body in the woods is interesting. Don't Jake Paulus. Don't do that.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I went there. I'm sorry. I went there. My apologies. Relevance.
I forgive you.
I appreciate that. I don't forgive myself, but I appreciate it.
We don't forgive what's his face.
I don't forgive him either, but you know, that's details. We'll get it's nothing to be discussed. It's fine. But no, like I said, anybody looking to complete the collection, playing through all the Zelda games, you need to do that. Actually, because of that, I also got to play two Zelda games that I haven't. Another Zelda game that I haven't gotten to see before. Did you know that they made a Zelda Game & Watch?
Really?
Yes.
I did not.
There was a series of Game & Watches that Nintendo made, several of which were single-screen Game & Watches. Did you know the DS also was not the first dual-screen console they released? As a matter of fact, they had a series of about 3 or 4 Game & Watch games that were dual-screen. So the DSs were not the first time that they did that. And one of the Zelda games was actually one of the Game & Watches, as well as a dual screen one. So it had the unique properties of being both. And let me double check something here so I'm not mistaking myself. Now, some of us are familiar with the Game & Watch they released not too long ago, where it had Zelda 1, Zelda 2, and Zelda's Adventure, Link's Awakening, on it, which is really cool. But no, the one I'm talking about is Game & Watch from 1989. It was one of the, like I said, 3 or 4 dual-screen units they made. And funny enough, it wasn't bad. It was actually fairly decent for the small-screen game. What was cool about it is it was super forgiving, too, because even if you died, you restarted whatever, quote, dungeon you were playing. It was really cool. So I had a good opportunity to play that. If you're interested, the Game Boy Advance has the Game & Watch Gallery, which has all of the Game & Watch games that they produced over the years. The Fire and the Jump and all the weird ones that they made. You could unlock the Zelda game. The problem was, to get it, you had to unlock literally everything to get the Zelda Game & Watch, which is annoying. So you just download a save state. It's fine. Yeah, I'm not spending 40 hours playing ceaselessly a dozen other games to get perfect scores just so I can play one game. Now, I skipped all that just to get to the Zelda Game & Watch, and it's actually not bad. It's not bad. It's interesting. Again, I use that word a lot, but it's interesting in a good way. For what it was actually quite good. Some of the fun stuff you get into when you go into trying to complete every game in a series. And don't, for all that's worth it, don't hurt yourself trying to play every Mario game. There's literally 1,000 of them. I actually have a friend who started to try. There's like 300 and some, give or take. 150, 300, so it's a stupid huge number. Unless you really like Mario, then go for it. Because he's in a lot of games. Including Game & Watch games. Oh. It looks like we may have just lost... Nope. Okay, I was going to say, I thought for a moment we lost one of our racers. But, they're here. They're still good. A lot of fun stuff out there. Our history of gaming has definitely come a long way. And has taken a lot of very interesting avenues into alternate technology, alternate play style, alternate media. That's why randomizers are cool. It gives those games a lot more play, a lot more, brings life to a game that may or may not needed it, may or may not have needed it, but that's what Random Monday is. It's community gaming, playing a game together. Hopefully as many people as we can get on here and enjoying a randomizer, playing a game all over again in a different way. That's what we do here on this particular event.
Yo, he can't have that much HP left.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, you got that mess going. That's why.
Woo.
Did you beat him?
Yeah.
GG, bud.
There we go. And ladies and gentlemen, our first racer to finish tonight, Concakes, clocking in a time of 3 hours, 12 minutes, and 18 seconds. I did start the timer a little later because I was waiting for visual confirmation. The race timer is a little bit faster. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Concakes clocking in there.
That was a
GGs.
nasty seed.
Yeah,
We keep rolling those, bud. We keep rolling those.
That wasn't.
It wasn't even you guys that did it this time. It was me.
Everybody getting that.
Yeah.
If the EXP was tripled, that would have been fucking.
It probably would have been shorter, for sure.
That'd have been freaking.
So I will say this. Con, you and Desert Eagle were pretty much at the same point at the end there for the most part. But it looked like Desert
really?
Eagle, yeah, he dipped, I should say, they dipped out to do some leveling. Because they did also make an attempt on Smitty as well, but I believe they probably felt that they weren't quite there, so they did dip out. They're currently leveling and resorting their gear.
Yeah, I lost a couple lives, but I figured if I could get enough red essences, I'd be fine. And my red essence just ran out. I had 12 of them. It just ran out by the time I picked the last hit on the boss. So, whew, very close.
Well, there you
Let me
go.
know what she says. Sorry.
Nope, you're right. And it looks like at the moment, and just kind of giving coverage here of what's going on, Desert Eagle is sitting on 6 stars. They are pretty much, looks like, just rearranging stuff to make sure they're ready and capable of taking on the final boss. It looks like their average level is roughly at 20. It looks like they're going to get a few more levels here. There's another one. Anthole, you're sitting around 4 stars, I believe. And OJ is somewhere between 2 and 4 stars. I didn't quite catch where they were last.
Correct.
But there you go. So for those who have been asking for it, who kind of wanted it on the channel for a while now, there is Super Mario RPG. I do apologize for not popping up sooner. Again, there is a little bit of a bias of having somebody available who knows how to play the game. Available to be able to play the game. And unfortunately, like I said, I'm less familiar with this particular one, so I do apologize that it's taken this long to get this on the screen, but there you go. So, while the other races are going, it looks like Desert Eagle is still doing some leveling up. We're going to go ahead and do something a little bit different for choosing the next game. I believe once or twice in the past I've done a sort of a shuffle like this before, but thanks to some new high-tech, super quality, newfangled interwebs technologies, in the center of your screen you're going to see something new and shiny. It is going to be the Random Monday Wheel of Wheels, although less of a wheel and more of a cool little circle in the center of the screen. It's fine. Don't worry about it. Details. It's fine. I need to, because, boop, there. Dead center of the screen. Random Monday. So on the list for next week, there are 5 games in this little shuffler for the time being. Obviously, it'll be much larger or smaller next week, depending. But there are 5 games in this list. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is your last chance to say, hey, can we add this to the list? Currently on this list is Zelda 2, Final Fantasy 1 Randomizer, Final Fantasy 4 Free Enterprise Randomizer, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Randomizer, and Aria of Sorrow Randomizer. We need to get Faces of Evil on here. Maybe. I think that one's going to be a hard pass for the moment until we can figure out how that's going to work. But I will look at it. If you have a suggestion, you can let me know. I mean, we'll work on it. We'll consider it. Can we add Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest? Manic, are you going to be available next week to play it? I'm not joking.
If you're available, Manic.
If you're available, I will add it. If you are available, potentially, I will add it. Oh gods, no. Oh gods, no. Okay, so that means we're not adding it. However, Soul Blazer and Crystallis I will be okay to add because I've definitely run Soul Blazer before, and I know there's at least a couple people here who've run Crystallis. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, I do like me some Crystal.
Crystallis is fun. I haven't run a Crystallis seed in quite a while, so that might be a good one to get back on the screen.
Yeah, I haven't either. It's friggin' I had to fill in for someone during Retrothon last year.
Right?
I mean, 2 years ago.
It's like, oh, we're doing Crystallis. Oh, they're not here. Crap. Can somebody else run it? Yes. When was the last time you ran it? About a year ago. Oh well, you're up. Now I got deep into Crystallis for a few minutes there. What's great is for those who are familiar with it, Crystallis is actually quite similar in gameplay style to a degree as Soul Blazer. So you got a cool little generational gap between the two. You kind of get that little bit of difference. But Crystallis is a fantastic game. I don't know it really got as much traction as it should have, but it, with the majority of people. But Crystallis was fantastic. Soul Blazer as well. Actually, I tell you what would be interesting to see another remake of. You know they're out there. You know Square Enix is doing some remakes. You know they did ActRaiser not too terribly long ago. It was okay. It wasn't great. It was a remake. They brought it back. I would love to see them bring back either Soul Blazer or Terra Enigma, or Illusion of Gaia as well. Those would be great. I'm not going to add Illusion of Gaia for the time being, just because that's not as many people run that, but I have run it before. It's a lot of fun too. For the time being, I'll leave that off the list because we got enough RPGs on there. It's good. It's fine. All right, and just so I can point out, Desert Eagle is in fact on the Smitty fight. He's in the first phase. I would love to see the rest. Yeah, I would love to see the rest of the Quintet stuff come back. I have never played through Terra Enigma either, so that one's on my list, especially if they do a remake on it. All right, so here's the list: Zelda 2, Final Fantasy 1, Final Fantasy 4, Turtles, Aria of Sorrow, Soul Blazer, and Crystallis. I'm going to go ahead, take these items on the screen in front of you before Desert Eagle gets into Phase 2, and I'm going to roll this, and we're going to see what we're going to be playing next week. And the winner... Oh gosh, that's loud. Oh gosh, oh gosh.
Oh, that's loud.
That's really loud. I love it, but that's super hecking loud. Alright, I'm going to have to fix that for next time. Yeah, that one's going to need a little bit of a tuning. Browser volume. Okay, we'll fix that next week. We'll fix that by next week. Anyways, next week will be Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise. Nice. So if you've never played Final Fantasy IV before, or if you have, next week Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise is a fantastic randomizer. It is essentially the equivalent of an open world randomizer for a game that under normal circumstances isn't. Actually, Final Fantasy VI was on the list for a few seconds. That one actually is kind of more open world once you get to a point. But no, we're going to do some Final Fantasy IV next week. So if you want to see that, do come back for that. Also, stay tuned for other lovely events that pop up during the week here. We've got our golf and sports Tuesdays. We've got the retro races on Friday, and events going pretty much like every weekend. So, like almost every weekend, which is great. What do we got coming up?
Tomorrow we've got RGL TV Sports with Baseball Stars 2 to prepare for this Saturday's versus one night only tournament of
Nice.
Baseball Stars 2. So that'll be a lot of fun. We've got on Friday we will have Retro Race Night. See episode 2. Hopefully we see a lot of repeat players so they can get their scores up.
There you go.
Saturday, we've got the Baseball Stars 2 versus Ona for Bobby Bonilla Day.
Yeah.
And then right after that, we have the very first episode of the Sega Ring of Champions. It's a 3-game race with short goals, or at least shorter goals. So that'll be fun. And then Sunday, we have the debut of our Sunday Sega Countdown, where we will have the top games from 1989 as voted on by the Sega crew.
Nice.
So be sure to check all of that out. And then next Monday, we've got Final Fantasy IV Free Enterprise.
Heck yeah.
So just back to back content every single day. Except Thursdays.
For now.
For now. More shows are coming. Get ready. We got so much shit coming down the pipeline that we could be plumbers.
Are you ready?
We can be plumbers, yeah.
I mean,
I'm fighting a treasure chest in a volcano, Kong. What do you want from me?
and whenever we have Crystallis, we get to fight more mimics there too. Freaking mimics.
God, I don't know them.
Special message from the devs. Now try it blindfolded. Lol. Also, we had a raid there from our good buddy Toad. Hi, Toad. How you doing?
Oh, Toad.
Well, how you going?
Thanks, Toad. Hope the alien fights were okay. Oh, not more than okay. I hope they were good. In it to win
Flying
it.
bombs. Pew
Spinning.
pews. XCOM was such a cool game. I sucked at it. It was such a cool game.
Awesome. There's probably an XCOM randomizer.
You know what?
It's called playing XCOM.
You know, you're right. You're absolutely right. You don't even need a randomizer tool for that one. You can look at an enemy. You got a 90% chance to hit, but that 90% is more like a 2. Good luck. That's XCOM logic. That's always XCOM logic. It could say 80%, 90%, doesn't matter. It's still only a 2% chance. That's how that game works. Enemy has a 2% chance of hitting you. It's automatically a 99% chance. Doesn't matter.
I love when you beat the volcano first boss, and then you have the sped up Mario 2 music, or stage 2, you know, the underground music.
Oh yeah,
Dude,
as you're chasing through.
Yeah.
So this, I will definitely say Mario RPG is on my list. I do want to try to play it and beat it within the next 2 or 3 months. I don't know if it's going to be the next game, but it's on my list. For those who aren't aware, I've never played this before. Which again is probably the only reason it's taken this long to get on the channel, on Random Monday. All right, but we got, I'm assuming very, very close on Oops, gosh darn it. Very, very close on Desert Eagles, as far as taking down Smitty. They're in the second part. I'm assuming second part. So they're almost done. I can see one of his characters has got a nice flashing background. Is that, I'm assuming the red matter?
Oh yeah, that's the red essence. Makes you immune for 3 turns.
There you go.
Oh, I gotta answer my mom real quick. Be right back.
Let's see what they got. Let's see if they can finish this up. Do a little zoomy zoom. Someone's taking a drinky drink. Get a freebie. Nice. Group hug. Come on, Bowser, you've got this. And the frying pan comes out. You know, when you think video game logic, when you think medieval fighting combat, swords, maces, hammers, axes, bows, rarely do you think frying pan. But if you really truly think about it, a frying pan is extraordinarily dangerous because what is it? It's a hunk of metal, a giant hunk of metal with a nice semi-ergonomic handle, perfect for thwacking somebody with.
Yeah, and that could be like cast iron. That's just
right.
heavy.
And if you got like a medieval kind of thing, yeah, cast iron makes 100% sense. I suppose we should probably do this. Here we go, doing the jump! Oh, not quite yet. Peach's frying pan looks very much like a cast iron skillet. Yeah, it does. You got to season that thing right. You don't want to abuse that with the wrong kind of scour pads or anything like that. You don't do that. You season it, you keep it, you clean it, you season it some more. You keep it going, you keep it nice for as long as you can. You get a nice, good seasoned cast iron skillet lasts you a really long time. Unless you don't take care of it, and it will last you a very short time, and you'll be getting tetanus shots weekly. Do not recommend.
No. That's a painful shot. Tetanus shot.
I've been fortunate to not have to get one myself. For now.
Hey, look. For now.
You never know what tomorrow's gonna bring. I never broke a bone until about a year or two ago. Then I broke a toe, both my pinky toes within a year of each other.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I broke one pinky toe because I accidentally kicked my bed. Then I broke the other pinky toe on something else like a couple months later. Then I actually broke it on a door. Confirmed one break, unconfirmed 2 other breaks, but it looked dang well pretty much the same. Ladies and gentlemen, be careful where you walk, and be careful what door you walk through when you're super angry one day, and you're randomly just like, and you slam a door open, and then instead of the door getting out of the way, it casually stays in place while you put your foot through it. Do not recommend.
That's a no good.
Yeah, it was either within 6 or 9 months I broke both pinky toes. It was that quick. Well, I mean, I guess that's not super quick, but it was quick enough. And at one point, I nearly broke my big toe, somewhere in that process. Thankfully, a little bit more sturdy and a little less punting on that one. But I went 37 years not breaking a bone, and then whatever.
And you break
And then
17.
I'm breaking at least a couple. Short version: manage your anger. Don't let your anger take control of you. I don't know what I was doing. I was so mad. I pushed the bathroom door open. I tried to walk through. The door didn't move. That's that one. The other one, I was just getting into bed, and I ended up just literally kicking the side of the frame. I'm like, how? How do you do that? Somehow I managed. Like, fix it. Yeah, I feel like you need to wear steel-toed boots 24/7. You're not wrong. So you know that dog I mentioned earlier? He has no regard for not walking on feet, at least mine. Steel-toed boots make sense. I had a pair for a while. Steel-toed
Yeah, Lenny has
boots.
no concept of people like existing around. Like it's just like to step through you, and I'm like, get off of me.
What's funny
Oh,
with
there we
my dog?
go. Nice, Desert Eagle.
There you go. There's a GG on Desert Eagle. Heck yeah. And for Desert Eagle, clocking in a time of 3 hours, 29 minutes, and 23 seconds. G heckin' G. Now, I was saying, my dog has no regard for the placement of my feet, because I will walk around and he'll just tromp on them. No question. But he has not a single time in, I'm assuming, about the year that we've had him, give or take, not a single time has ever stepped on my wife's feet. Not once. Mine, freaking daily, if not hourly. He just doesn't care. But with my wife, no, he won't. He's careful around my wife. He won't step on my wife's feet. He tries not to, at least. I don't know. He's just, who feeds him? Me. Who feeds him? Me. Well, she gives him a lot of the treats that he gets, so technically she gives him the good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I can't speak to the quality or difficulty of this seed, but from the sounds from what Kong has said and the sounds of what Desert Eagles just said in the chat, it seems like it was a rather rough one. Yeah, Kong says that he went into Smitty with 12 red essences. I did see Desert Eagle take a few more levels before he tried to go in, before they went in, excuse me. And they said that I wish I had more. I was like, all right, well, let's see where we're at. So, Anthole, where did we get with stars on yours? I didn't quite see. I think you're at 6 now?
I got 5.
You're at 5 now.
Just hit 5.
And I haven't caught quite where OJ Machine is yet with theirs. I know they have...
Almost forgot to save.
Yeah, I would make sure to save.
Yeah.
If you plan on finishing the seed, saving is a fantastic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where was the last one you just got in?
Volcano.